Ye Chen crossed into a world ravaged by abyssal forces where everyone pursued combat professions. By a twist of fate, he changed class into an SS-Rank Dragon Summoner and gained an exclusive skill, the power to bestow draconic talent upon any living creature. Onlookers burst into laughter when Ye Chen summoned only a small round creature with long ears, a soft ball of flesh that looked utterly harmless. Yet Ye Chen alone knew how terrifyingly powerful this little meatball would become once it evolved into a battle-tyrant dragon beast. At Tianqing City First High School, a student standing at the center of the sports field let out a cry, so raw it seemed ripped from his heart, yet the sound carried an odd, almost fragile beauty across all around him. The students' gazes converged upon his lone figure. Some eyes held a trace of pity, some remained utterly unreadable, yet most were filled with thinly veiled mockery. "Where is the homeroom teacher? Take him down and calm him properly." The principal of First High sighed as he spoke. Scenes like this had long since become routine for him, yet he could not help feeling a dull ache of sympathy each time. Every year at the transfer ceremony, countless students broke down when they were assigned to low-grade professions. Next, Sukuin. As the principal's voice faded, a clean-cut student with neatly parted hair ran toward the array platform, excitement shining clearly on his face. Once Sukuin took his place, the array began to activate, its lines slowly lighting as scattered points of starlight gathered toward him. After a minute, a faint radiance blossomed from his body. Sukuin, profession reader. The starlight that had poured into him left him strangely restless and stirred, as if awakening a long-dormant call. He had thought he might gain a remarkable combat class, yet in the end he was still destined to follow his family's path and take over his father's poultry farm. With a soft sigh, he accepted that his future at least was now clearly laid. His expression disappointed. Sukuin stepped down from the teleportation array. Unlike the previous student who had broken down, at least his path for the rest of his life now seemed clear. A family business really makes a difference. No matter what, he still has something solid to fall back on. Someone sighed. It may not be a grand enterprise, but it is at least a livelihood. It's maddening comparing lives like this. Having a good father really is different. Why are other people's fates so fortunate? A faint ironic reply followed, because of kindness. After a brief speechless pause, someone murmured, "Stop it. Look, Ye Chen seems depressed already." Someone protested, "What's wrong with that?" Another replied with a heavy tone, "Ye Chen has been an orphan since childhood. Apart from more than 30 million in debt, his parents left nothing for him. How could his heart not be weighed down?" He added in a hushed voice that Ye Chen had grown up with nothing but that debt hanging over him. At that moment, Ye Chen stood off to the side, looking drowsy, his eyelids half closed as he listened to none of it, utterly unconcerned with their chatter. What they said was true. Ye Chen's parents had indeed left behind debts of over 30 million before passing away. 16 years ago, Ye Chen crossed into this Shenzhou land. The moment he opened his eyes, he saw a man and a woman placing him, an infant, at the entrance of an orphanage, their arms carefully setting him down before they stepped away. At a glance, Ye Chen saw his father covered in tattoos, and his mother with sharp, intense eyes, as if she saw through everything. It felt like starting in a harsh predicament, yet not entirely without hope. For at least his life. Ye Chen remembered once playing a life simulation game, where he started with nothing, the screen bluntly declaring that his life had ended before it even began. Compared to that, simply being born here already felt like a narrow escape. Just then his parents returned and tucked a folded slip of paper against his tiny chest. With great effort, infant Ye Chen raised his small hands to see it clearly, and found it was a debt note for 30 million. Overwhelmed, the newborn Ye Chen seemed to rage inwardly at this outrageous beginning, as if desperately wanting to call his parents back and demand a fair start to his new life. One of the adults hesitated, wondering if the baby had just cursed, only to dismiss it as impossible. After all, a newborn could not speak. Urged on by the threat of being discovered, they quickly left as staff from the orphanage approached. Thus, Ye Chen was taken in by the orphanage and raised there until he left at 16 to live on his own. Years later, at the transfer ceremony, the process was already more than halfway complete. The principal sat on the podium with a troubled face. Among more than 1,000 seniors, not a single grade profession had appeared, nor even one hidden class. At this rate, Tianqing City First High would sink to the bottom among all schools. Next, Lu Shuwan. The principal sighed again. So far, the highest class awakened at the ceremony was only in a grade warrior, and most professions were ordinary support or life-oriented roles. Battle classes were pitifully. In the very next moment, the transfer platform erupted with a surge of astonishing green light. A vibrant, verdant aura washed over the field, making the students straighten instinctively, as if their very bodies were refreshed. Within the array, Lu Shuwen's figure was shrouded entirely in green light. Only the graceful outline of her form could be glimpsed. Above her head, a tiny sprite-like figure seemed to dance in the air, fluttering lightly like a small spirit. "My exhaustion has completely vanished. I feel brimming with energy." Another student echoed in surprise, delighted to find their own fatigue gone as well. Even a student who had strained themselves badly the previous day now felt their aches melt away, drawing awed looks from their classmates. No one was more excited than the principal. His breathing quickened, hands clenched, voice trembling as he exclaimed inwardly, "This is a hidden class." Then he corrected himself, "No, it's at least grade. Our school is saved." Across all of Xinzhou, only a handful of grade professionals emerged each year. In unlucky years, not even 10 appeared. The discovery of one at their school meant everything. As for SS grade professions, there was only a single one in all of Xinzhou, indeed on all of Blue Star. It was thanks to that lone SS grade professional that Xinzhou had risen to stand at the very peak of the world. Lu Shuan profession S grade support, class Emerald Spirit. Excellent. The principal slammed the table in excitement and shot to his feet. An S grade profession and a support one at that. Support professions were common enough, but most were only B or a grade. Grade support specialists were rare, and S grade support class was all but unheard of. So many awakeners gained support professions, yet nearly all were B or a grade. Grade support classes were few and far between. The emergence of an S-grade support professional at first high would surely draw national attention and care. An S-grade support class. That truly is rare. Just as the principal reveled in relief, a calm, slightly discordant voice reached his ears. It was war god Ling Aofing. Shock flooded the principal's features, for Ling Aofing was the SS-grade professional who had defeated nearly every top expert on Blue Star and lifted Xinzhou to the summit of the world's power. "I came to handle some matters," Ling Aofing explained, his tone light. "Seeing unusual signs here reminded me that today is the annual transfer ceremony, so I decided to take a look." As he spoke, Ling Aofing's brows suddenly knit. His gaze shifted to a student sitting on a long bench, Ye Chen, and an expression of deep puzzlement crossed his face. "What's wrong?" Following Ling Aofing's gaze, Principal Li Zhongping saw Ye Chen sitting alone and explained that is Ye Chen, the class representative of Senior 3 Class 4. "Do you know him?" Ling Aofing shook his head. "No," he said simply, then asked when will it be his turn to transfer. Principal Li thought for a moment and replied that Class 3's turn was nearly over. Ye Chen's would come in about half. Ling Aofing paused, then asked, "Could you let him transfer first?" Principal Li agreed without hesitation, even though he did not understand War God's reasons. Thus Principal Li raised his voice and called out next. "Ye Chen." "Huh, Ye Chen. Isn't he from Class 4? Wasn't Class 3 still going?" Did Principal Li call the wrong name? The students exchanged puzzled glances. "Ye Chen, come up to the stage at once for your vocation change." Once he realized he had indeed been called Ye Chen, though bewildered, rose and walked toward the platform. This boy only attends the vocation change lessons. In all other academic classes he naps, yet he somehow always tops the year. Truly strange. He's had a hard road. His parents abandoned him early and left him with a mountain of debt. Li Zhongping could not help but sigh as he spoke. A sudden dragon-like cry tore through the sky, shattering Li Zhongping's reverie. The transfer platform was swathed in a blinding yellow radiance. Beyond Ye Chen's silhouette, a humanoid outline 50 meters tall loomed within the light. A transfer phenomenon. Could this be in S-class or higher profession? Perhaps even SSS. Li Zhongping clenched his trembling fist. Already he glimpsed a splendid future for the school. "No, it's far more intense than that, girls. Just like when I changed," Ling Aofing said with a faint smile. "Could it be SS level?" Li Zhongping dared not finish the sentence. If Ye Chen truly became an SS level practitioner, his own name would be inscribed in history. It wasn't only Li Zhongping. Students ringing the playground were frozen in astonishment. An S-level profession had just appeared, and now an SS level one followed in its wake. This world is getting insane. Lu Shuan's beautiful eyes remained fixed on the platform, but a trace of unease flickered within them. Minutes later the phenomenon faded, and the playground fell silent. Everyone waited for the teacher operating the array to announce Ye Chen's profession. What's taking the teacher so long? Why hasn't he reported it? Is it SS or SSS? We're dying to know. After half a minute the teacher at the array finally spoke. Ye Chen. SS level profession. Dragon-type summoner. The announcement sent the crowd into an uproar. No way, really SS level. As far as I know, only our Xinzhou's war god was SSS on launching. Never expected to see a second with my own eyes. But I've heard summoners are monstrously expensive. Among combat vocations they're almost at the bottom. Ye Chen's family, can they possibly afford it? It's SS level, for crying out loud. Would the state just let him shoulder that cost alone? Well, a sewer class vocation nonetheless, even if SSS, so what? Across launching, have you ever seen a high-tier summoner? Xinzhou has tried cultivating them before, but a single summoned beast devours resources nearly double that of a mage. And yet their combat power still lags behind mages. But Ye Chen is different. He's a dragon-type summoner. Do you know what SS level entails? I can't say whether it's stronger, but the resources required would certainly far exceed those for an ordinary summoner. Ye Chen had not yet recovered from his shock. He never expected to become an SS level dragon-type summoner. But what was that 50-meter humanoid silhouette just now? Some kind of little dragon person. Then a system chime sounded ding. Detection complete. Host has transferred into Dragon-type Summoner. Use system-designated summoned beast. Huh. System. You're awfully late, aren't you? The system replied very well. Initiating system binding. The summoned beast has been delivered to your summoner space. Note: after binding, the host may summon only this single Dragon-type summoned beast. No other Dragon-type summons may be used. Every 10 levels the system will grant an exclusive gift pack. What the forcing this on me? I never agreed. Ye Chen froze when he heard the restriction. A summoner's strength lay in numbers, and being locked to a single summon was a crippling limitation. Would you like to claim the newbie gift pack? Ye Chen was about to curse when a teacher outside the array called Ye Chen. The principal wants to see you. Go over first. The transfers here will continue. Ye Chen gathered himself, nodded, and left the platform. Ye Chen, you've made the teacher proud. After stepping down, he received a huge, grateful embrace from his homeroom teacher. Brother Zhu, don't exaggerate. Your sponsorship covered 3 years of my high school. You deserve at least half the credit, Ye Chen protested. Zhu Kai, his homeroom teacher, had taken on nearly all of Ye Chen's school expenses when he could not pay. Calling him a second set of parents would not be an overstatement. You brat. How many times must I tell you to call me Kai Go? Zhu Kai scolded with a laughing tone. All right, brother Zhu, Ye Chen replied sheepishly. Enough of that. Change the subject. When a summoner transfers, don't they normally unlock their first summoned beast immediately? Could you summon it for us to observe? The homeroom teacher asked. The other students surged forward, eager to see what an SS-level summoner would call forth. Even Principal Li hurried over, though oddly the war god Ling Aofing had vanished. All right, I'll show it to everyone, Ye Chen said with a polite nod. In truth, he had been too occupied protesting the system's heavy-handedness to look earlier. Ye Chen gestured grandly. A beam of light shot into the sky. Every pair of eyes turned upward, expecting to behold the 50-meter colossus. When the light faded, there was nothing in the air. Huh, where's the summon? Why is there nothing? Down here. What is that lump of flesh? Everyone stared stunned at the rotund, rolling lump at Ye Chen's feet. Where was the 50-meter dragon? Ye Chen was equally bereft of words. To everyone else it was a disappointment, but as a transmigrant, Ye Chen recognized the creature all too well. Round and pudgy, 2 long ears, pink skin, it was unmistakably a Guanxio beast. This summoned beast, it's so cute, a student said awkwardly. The surrounding students burst into laughter, and the playground filled with light-hearted mirth. Seeing Ye Chen hang his head in silence, Principal Li stepped forward and patted his shoulder consolingly. Don't be discouraged, Ye Chen. If the initial summon isn't ideal, you can always form a new contract with another beast later. Believe in yourself. Perhaps the first successful summoner will be you. Li Zhongping encouraged, though disappointment still shadowed his features. Ye Chen kept his gaze on the Guanxio beast below. Others assumed he was crestfallen, but he fought the urge to laugh aloud. They had no idea what Ye Chen knew. Once a Guanxio beast evolves into its ultimate form, just how powerful could it become? With a stroke of luck, even Uncle Ao might someday see it with his own eyes. After a period of time, all the senior students at Yizhong had completed their job transfers. Among the more than 2,000 students, aside from Ye Chen, who was an SS level, and Lu Shuwen, who was an S level, there was only one A-level job of a berserker, with no S-level jobs emerging. However, the principal did not mind these details. Setting aside Ye Chen for now, Lu Shuwen alone had already exceeded the job transfer quota for Yizhong. Perhaps in the future he would receive a promotion and embark on the pinnacle of his life. Now is the time for dreams. As of now, everyone's high school life has completely ended. Everyone knows that since the rise of demons, there have been no universities on Blue Star. All high school graduates only have 2 paths after their job transfers. One is to return to civilian life, commonly known as finding a class to join. The other is to venture into the Abyss dungeons to enhance their strength. But remember, regardless of the path you choose, you will always be the proudest students of Yizhong, the backbone of the new generation of Shenzhou. Wow. As soon as the principal's words were spoken, a fervent applause erupted, for the principal had given everyone the greatest affirmation. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., Yizhong, along with No. 2 No. 3 and No. 4 middle schools will jointly hold a novice training event at the newbie dungeon in Tianqing City Green Pastures. Among the 4 schools, excluding those who transferred to civilian jobs, there will be over 4,000 combat job transfer students participating, with a dungeon duration of 9 hours. Green Pastures is a novice dungeon specifically designed for newly graduated students, only opened once a year. Although the experience is not much different from an ordinary novice dungeon, the difficulty is somewhat lower, so students generally exert all their efforts in the Green Pastures dungeon. As for those who transferred to civilian jobs, they will not be neglected either. There will be special competitions for them. After all, civilian job transfer students are not suited for combat. After school, a very handsome boy directly hooked his arm around Ye Chen's shoulder and said enviously, "Lazy brother, I truly envy you. An SS level job, it seems you will really soar to great heights in the future." Tao Hong, hey, it's just a summoner, what's there to envy? Lazy brother is a nickname for Ye Chen with no other meaning, he is simply lazy. Tao Hong is Ye Chen's best friend in Shenzhou. They had been classmates from elementary school through high school. After Ye Chen left the orphanage, he straightforwardly rented a single room in the old residential area where Tao Hong lived, relying on social assistance. Don't think too much. I believe you will achieve great things in the future. Just don't forget my nurturing grace. If you want benefits, then I, Tao, am not one to refuse. He'll wear my long johns inside out tonight. I can't let my brother be too embarrassed. Get lost, Ye Chen retorted. Though Tao Hong's buzzcut hairstyle seemed unremarkable and merely good-looking, if he were to wear women's clothing and put on a wig, he could rival the school beauty Lu Shuwan, even without makeup. Of course, this was also Tao Hong's greatest joy. Whenever he had a holiday, he would dress in women's clothing and wander around. Whether it was luck or fate, Tao Hong had transferred to a level job, the alteration master. Lazy brother, it seems the Green Pastures novice dungeon can only be entered solo, so it looks like we will have to rely on our own skills. I originally wanted to cling to you for support. Aren't you an alteration master? Isn't that a civilian job? Ye Chen asked curiously. Who knew? Tao Hong shook his head and said, I originally thought so too, but my panel indeed shows me as a combat job transfer student, yet all my skills are not offensive skills. Alright then, after the novice dungeon, you should work hard to level up to level 10, and then it'll take you into the abyss. Ye Chen said, Dad, I've been waiting for you to say that. From now on we will each call each other Dad. Tao Hong chuckled. Ye Chen and Tao Hong laughed and chatted as they walked out of the school. Alas, what a waste of an SS level job to be just a summoner. You're starting again. Just now you were lamenting a level, then a clevel, and now that someone has an SS level job you're still lamenting. Why don't you lament yourself instead? We are classmates, don't argue so much. Do you remember the most powerful summoner? That one known as the #1 summoner. Are you talking about that S-level summoner? That's him. He drained the resources of an entire province, but what happened in the end? Wasn't he still dead in the awakening abyss? The resources required for that S-level summoner were already several times more than those of an ordinary summoner, and I can't even imagine the resources required for Ye Chen's SS level. Ye Chen also heard their conversation, and they weren't wrong. Throughout history, no summoner has ever reached the strength of the top tier. The only summoner with the greatest hope ended up dying in the awakening abyss. Ye Chen, not bad. I didn't expect you to transfer to an SS level job. You really hit the jackpot. But you're just a sewer summoner, and even your summons look like mascots. I think you should stop calling yourself a dragon-type summoner and just call yourself a mascot summoner instead. Lu Shuwen, who had just approached, sarcastically chimed in. A spy, Ye Chen bluntly replied. Even if she was the school beauty, she still spoke harshly. That's just how straightforward Ye Chen was. Simple banter, pure enjoyment. Ye Chen and Lu Shuwan's poor relationship was well known, as Ye Chen would sleep through class, yet still score first in cultural subjects, which left Lu Shuwen, who always felt overshadowed, feeling resentment. Until one day Lu Shuwan heard a rumor about Ye Chen's parents abandoning him due to a 30 million debt. The next day Lu Shuwan informed all the students at Yizhong, attempting to humiliate Ye Chen. After that incident, the two had basically become enemies. Lu Shuwan's face immediately darkened upon hearing Ye Chen's foul language. How dare you curse? You awakened a sewer job. Oh, what's so impressive about being SS level? I am a level job holder. A berserker. The most mainstream profession right now. If you dare to bully Shuwan again, don't blame me for being rude. Ye Chen glanced at the boy who suddenly jumped out, the only a level job holder in Yizhong, named Deng Chun, who came from a wealthy family, and was also a devoted pursuer of Lu Shuwan. What does that mean? Deng Chun stood there momentarily confused. He said, you're a simp. Damn, Ye Chen, I want to challenge you today. Activate Berserk. Deng Chun said as his skin began to turn red and his body started to swell, looking much sturdier than when he was skinny just moments ago. This is the exclusive skill of a berserker, which greatly enhances all of its attributes, but the cost is that it inflicts bleeding effects. Seeing this, Tao Hong hurriedly stood in front of Ye Chen. Aside from Tao Hong, there was also the rolling beast, which Ye Chen had not yet recalled to the summoner's space since earlier. Haha. Do you truly believe a single man and his blob-like summon can defeat me? So what if I have to pay some compensation? I've got more money than I know what to do with. Deng Chun sneered, already aware of Tao Hong's rank, class, and dismissing Ye Chen's fleshy summon as utterly feeble, unworthy of concern. Ye Chen stole a glance at the golem ball beast's attribute panel, a faint, almost imperceptible smile flickering across his lips. Golem ball beast, juvenile stage. HP 2000. Attack 700. Speed 60. Skill 1, acidic bubble barrage. Launches a torrent of corrosive bubbles, dealing damage equal to 220 of base attack and inflicting poison. Skill 2, ramming charge. Surges forward with explosive force, delivering damage equal to 200 of base attack, speed increases with agility. Evolution materials required 50 evolution fragments, current 0. Equipped items none. Ye Chen nearly gasped upon seeing these stats. Textbooks clearly stated that even a standard A-class mage at level 1 possessed only about 300 HP, while a warrior barely reached 500. This meant a level 1 warrior could not survive even a single strike from the Golem Ball Beast. This, mind you, without either Ye Chen or his summon wearing any equipment. Go on, show me what you're made of. Ye Chen smiled calmly, pointing at the Golem Ball Beast with a gesture reminiscent of Master Zhen Zaidan's iconic meme pose. Don't you dare bully Ye Chen. The Golem Ball Beast hopped forward several times, locking its gaze fiercely onto Deng Chen, clearly poised to strike. Oh ho, feisty little thing, aren't you? Don't think I need gear to crush you like a bug. Before he could finish, the Golem Ball Beast launched itself skyward and shot straight toward Deng Chen. Ramming charge. Deng Chen hadn't expected this silent sudden assault. He'd intended to absorb the blow and then mock Ye Chen relentlessly. Yet for an instant, a fleeting primal tremor, he felt genuine fear. His body reacted, instinctively twisting aside just in time. Boom. The Golem Ball Beast streaked past Deng Chen's chest, slamming into the ground with cataclysmic force, leaving behind a grotesquely deep crater. This could a starter tier summon possibly deal such devastation? Even Deng Chen's strongest strike couldn't carve out a crater this massive. Be bold. Deng Chen wouldn't reach this level even at level 10. Must be one of those rich, sheltered kids. Saw Ye Chen was a summoner and assumed he was soft prey. Little did he know SS class profession. Looks like he just kicked a steel plate. Deng Chen stared down at the crater beneath his feet, cold sweat beading on his forehead. He never imagined such a seemingly frail creature could wield such terrifying power. Had that blow landed squarely, he might well have died. Humph. Today I wasn't wearing gear, so I'll overlook this. But next time speak respectfully to Shu Wan. Deng Chen glanced around, only to realize Lu Shuwan had vanished without a trace. Who gave you permission to leave? What do you want now, eh? An apology? Ye Chen spoke coolly. The Golem Ball Beast's near miss had been deliberate. Summoners shared profound telepathic resonance with their summons, words were often unnecessary. Deng Chen would not have survived a direct hit. Killing someone at the school gate would bring Ye Chen immense trouble, and Deng Chen's family wielded formidable influence. I've already chosen to let it go. Why must you escalate things? Deng Chen clenched his fist jaw tight. Apologize, or you won't leave here today, Ye Chen repeated, calm and unyielding. The Golem Ball Beast leapt before Deng Chen coiled and ready to strike. Who dares brawl at the school gate? Don't think graduation makes you untouchable. Principal Li Zhongping, pedaling home on his bicycle, spotted a crowd gathering at the gate. Drawing closer, he recognized a student conflict and hurried over immediately. Ye Chen, Deng Chen, what's going on here? Principal Li asked. Sir Lu Shuwan came looking for trouble earlier. Ye Chen said something sharp. Deng Chen took offense, stepped in to defend her, and, well, here we are. A student murmured quietly. Li Zhongping frowned. He knew of the tension between Ye Chen and Lu Shuwan, but since no real incident had occurred, he'd chosen not to intervene. Enough, you both head home now. Neither of you is injured, so let's close this matter today. Relief washed over Deng Chen. He lifted his leg to walk away, only for Ye Chen to block his path once more. One last time, even if Heaven's sovereign himself walked in now, you will apologize. Otherwise you do not leave this spot. Ye Chen's voice was quiet yet absolute. Deng Chen's face flushed dark with fury, yet dread of the Golem Ball Beast held him back, and pride refused to yield. Deng Chen, you started this, apologize. Now, seeing Ye Chen's unwavering stance, Principal Li hardened his expression and barked at Deng Chen. Sorry. What was that? Sorry. I can't hear you. Sorry. Muzurui. Simamasai. Deng Chen roared, neck crimson. Whether from volume or shame no one could tell. Fine, off you go. Ye Chen waved dismissively. Deng Chen lowered his head and walked away in silence. All of you head home too. And don't forget tomorrow's Qingqing Grassland dungeon run. Yes, sir. Goodbye, Principal. Sigh, such exasperating children. Principal Li sighed again, then froze, noticing a massive crater directly beneath his feet, unmistakably forged by violent impact. Such a colossal crater. Was this caused during their scuffle? He shook his head, dismissing the thought. Even a level 10 transcendent would struggle to produce such devastation. How could two freshly ranked novices possibly achieve it? Lan Guyer's summon looks utterly ordinary, yet its strength is staggering. I nearly jumped out of my skin just now. Tao Hong exclaimed as they walked. Lan Guyer's summon looks utterly ordinary, yet its strength is staggering. I nearly jumped out of my skin just now. Tao Hong exclaimed as they walked. Think of it this way, you have 70 attack points. The Golem Ball Beast has 700. They differ by just 1 0. And 0, as everyone knows, equals nothing. So technically there's no gap at all. Ye Chen declared deadpan. I'm a farmer. My family tills the land. You're beetroot. Tao Hong raised a thumb high in salute. The two bought some simple groceries at the market. After returning home, Ye Chen busied himself in the kitchen, while Tao Hong sat on the sofa lost in thought. Since Tao Hong's parents worked away from home and rarely returned, she often came to Ye Chen's place for a meal. Before long, Ye Chen had prepared 2 dishes and a soup, which looked extremely appetizing. Lazy brother, I think your dish is a bit too salty. I don't care what you think, I care what I think. Silence. Lazy brother, I haven't seen my mom in a long time. I miss her cooking. That's real mother's flavor. You miss mother's flavor, but how can your father cook that? You mother. After eating and drinking to their heart's content, Tao Hong went home. The next day was the beginner dungeon, and he naturally needed to prepare. After tidying up, Ye Chen returned to his room and glanced at his attribute panel. Name: Ye Chen, Job Dragon Summoner, SS grade, level 10, 100 HP, 800 MP, 100 Strength, 10 Intelligence, 20 Agility, 10 remaining free attribute points 5 additional points per level. Talent: unique, can only contract 1 dragon type, exclusive summon a skill, rage, equipment none. The other attributes were unremarkable, but his HP was much higher than that of an ordinary class changer. But what did this talent mean? Only 1 dragon type contract. Did that mean he could contract summons of other attributes? Ye Chen looked at his summon slots and found only 1. Forget it'll take it step by step. Ye Chen summoned the rolling ball again, looking at it with a thoughtful expression. The rolling ball needed 50 evolution fragments to evolve, but he didn't know where to get them. Moreover, after studying for over a decade, Ye Chen had never heard of evolution fragments as a material. Oh right, I think I haven't claimed the beginner gift pack yet. Ye Chen suddenly remembered that when he was on the class-changing platform, the system had prompted him to claim the beginner gift pack, but he was interrupted by the teacher. System claimed the beginner gift pack. Ding. Successfully claimed the beginner gift pack. Congratulations. You have obtained Talent Dragon Bond. Congratulations. You have obtained Material Evolution Fragment X100. Dragon Bond: when a dragon summoner has multiple dragon-type summons, all summon attributes increase by 25. When a dragon summoner has only 1 dragon-type summon attributes increase by 100. Tip: the host can claim an exclusive gift pack every 10 levels. Increase. A full double. That much. Ye Chen was astonished. The rolling ball's HP had now reached 4,000, and its attack power was as high as 1,400. Simply based on stats, the level 1 rolling ball was already comparable to a level 20 class changer. Moreover, the system had also gifted 100 evolution fragments. And the rolling ball only needed 50 to evolve. Ye Chen, I'm hungry. Just as Ye Chen was about to use the evolution fragments, the rolling ball suddenly spoke. Ye Chen suddenly realized that summons also needed to eat, so he made some food for the rolling ball. After it was full, Ye Chen used 50 evolution fragments without hesitation. Dang dang dang. Nigai ta lia ki lao ma ru ko tao wa da lai mao. As the rolling ball's body radiated a dazzling light, Ye Chen unconsciously hummed that evolution anthem. The rolling ball's body began to grow larger, turning yellow, its eyes turning green, and its limbs extending outward. Rolling ball evolve. Argument. Ye Chen looked at the little yellow dinosaur before him, his eyes full of amusement. Argument growth stage, HP 8,000, attack 2,000, speed 300. Skill 1, small flame, spits a ball of extremely hot fire from its mouth, damaging enemies in a small area with a chance to inflict burn. Skill 2, sharp claw, uses claws to damage a single enemy with a chance to cause a tear effect, tear damage taken increased by 150. Evolution materials, 150 evolution fragments, currently owned 50. Equipment none. Awesome. 8,000 HP. 2,000 attack. Ye Chen slapped his thigh and jumped up. With this, wouldn't he be able to slaughter everything in the beginner dungeon? He estimated that with 1 claw those little monsters would owe Ye Chen 20 lives. Not bad. Now the main task is to protect my own life first. Although Agumon's attributes were off the charts, and Ye Chen's own HP was decent, he still needed the ability to protect himself. With that thought, Ye Chen quickly opened his computer and entered the class changer trading website operated by the Shinjo official. Skill books, equipment, and various potions could all be bought and sold here. After entering, Ye Chen directly opened the equipment section on the homepage. Advanced search. Equipment. Prioritize HP and defense. Ye Chen used the advanced search. After clicking confirm, hundreds of items for sale instantly popped up. Ye Chen browsed through them very seriously. 2 little HP boost. HP is okay, but it requires level 10 or above. This is good, so much HP. And it's a level 1 ring. He'll buy it. Damn. What the hell? A level 1 equipment costs 2,000. Are you crazy? After half an hour of filtering, Ye Chen finally picked a decent piece of equipment, and with the remaining money, he also chose one for argument. Fluffy thickened cotton pants, common quality, slot legs, level 1, HP 200. Description: super cotton pants made from the wool of Qingqing grassland, warm and snug against the legs. Ye Chen's entire wealth was only over 30,000 yuan, and this single pair of common quality cotton pants cost a full 27,000. It was clear how expensive class changer equipment was. Equipment was divided into 5 qualities: common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. It was said there were also mythical quality equipment, but no one had ever seen one. Ye Chen equipped the gear and then allocated all 5 free attribute points to HP. 1 attribute point equaled 20 HP, so Ye Chen's HP increased from 800 to 1100. Then Ye Chen took out the equipment he bought for Argument. Chicken's Claw, common quality, summon exclusive equipment. Level 0, attack 10. Description: a claw taken from a Twonda-half-year-old fighting chicken, extremely sharp. You think it's just a chicken? Be careful, it might gut you. Well, that was just a simple 10 attack. However, because the summoner class was very rare, summon equipment was generally cheap. This chicken claw only cost 2.5 yuan. What more could you ask for? Ye Chen, this chicken claw looks so ugly. Argument complained, looking at its own claw. Then it'll hide the equipment. Equipment worn by summons and class changers could be hidden, making it look like no equipment was worn, but the attributes remained. That night, Ye Chen and Yagushu talked for a very long time. Yagushu did not know where it came from nor why it had come. It only knew that Ye Chen was more important to it than its own life. The next morning, Ye Chen, who had been too excited to sleep well all night, got up early to prepare breakfast. Tao Hong also arrived early, and after breakfast they took a bus to the newbie dungeon Qingqing Prairie. Tianqing City's Qingbei district was once one of the top economic districts in Tianqing City, but 100 years ago the abyss appeared here. After the predecessors went through immense hardships to achieve a perfect clearance, due to the long duration the demon aura had become too thick, making it unsuitable for human habitation in the short term. Therefore the military heavily guarded the area and turned it into a newbie dungeon. The assembly time was 10 o'clock in the morning. Although it was only a little past 8, the square was already packed with people, and there were vendors selling various breakfast items along the roadside. Students from 1st high school, 2nd high school, 3rd high school, and 4th high school with a rank or above professions proceed to the center of the square to receive your newbie weapons. At 9 o'clock the broadcast suddenly sounded. I'm so envious of you, Lan Go. You get benefits, but I'm just a rank profession. It's just a newbie weapon. I reckon after the newbie dungeon I'll have to replace it. Ye Chen smiled, and then walked toward the center of the square. At the center of the square 3 or 4 armed military personnel stood guard on all sides. In the middle stood a large tent where rare class changers from the 4 schools were queuing up to enter. Ye Chen also went over and started queuing. What's the rush? It's just a crappy newbie weapon, no need to be so impatient. A classmate in front of Ye Chen turned around and said somewhat displeasedly, only because Ye Chen's arm had accidentally brushed against him. Watch your words, this is Ye Chen from 1st high school, the SSS-Rank Summoner. A classmate nearby whispered in reminder. It's nothing, just a bump. We're all classmates. Although he knew that the summoner was a sewer profession, that was still an SS rank class changer. One of only 2 such existences on the entire Blue Star. Even if it was in the sewer, it wasn't something an rank professional like him could provoke. Ye Chen looked at the classmate who had been so aggressive just a moment ago, and now had a fawning expression and couldn't help but remark, "Bro, don't you have a cooldown on your face changing? Register first." When it was Ye Chen's turn, the registrar tapped the paper and pen on the table without looking up. Ye Chen was speechless. No matter where he went, these official workers were always so lackadaisical. After registering, go to the equipment section and queue up. A staff member will issue newbie weapons according to... The staff member said without looking up, his speech so fast that even a rapper would be in awe. Where is the equipment section? Ye Chen looked around. Apart from 2 or 3 staff members inside the tent scrolling through Douyin, there was nothing else. Find it yourself. You're 16 years old and still can't do anything. If you ask me, and he asks me how can I get my work done, the registrar said impatiently. Did you eat gunpowder? What work have you done? Sitting there browsing Pinduoduo. What, asking others to help you cut a deal, collecting fragments for your mother's urn? Ye Chen was usually easygoing, but faced with such a moron, he wouldn't let it slide. Fuck. Say that again. You little brat, just because you got a decent profession you think you're something special. Come on, tell me your name, and you'll never have a good day from now on. The registrar slammed the table, stood up, and pointed at Ye Chen, shouting loudly. Ye Chen patted the registration form he had just filled out on the table and sneered. Are you blind? I just wrote it, and... The registrar slammed the table, stood up, and pointed at Ye Chen, shouting loudly. Ye Chen patted the registration form he had just filled out on the table and sneered. Are you blind? Look, he's getting mad again. Ye Chen continued to press his advantage. What are you doing? Who allowed you to argue here? At that moment, a middle-aged man walked in. Ye Chen had seen him on TV. The mayor of Tianqing City, Hu Jun, a level 40 warrior. The mayor is here. Things are serious. The students watching nearby all made way. Before the registrar could speak, Ye Chen jumped in. Mayor, he's not doing his job during work hours, sitting there helping his mother piece together an urn. Is that reasonable? Brother-in-law, this son of a... The registrar pointed at Ye Chen, about to start cursing, but found Hu Jun glaring at him fiercely. Realizing he had slipped up, the registrar quickly changed his tune. Mayor, this kid has been cursing me the whole time. Each word worse than the last. Hu Jun ignored the registrar, picked up the registration form on the table, glanced at the name, paused, and then said, "You are Ye Chen. Was it you who started the cursing?" "What? Going to cover for your brother-in-law?" Ye Chen asked with a smile. Hu Jun's face darkened, and he snorted, "What brother-in-law? I'm asking if you started the cursing." "I did start it, but don't you want to know the context?" "That's none of my business. Since you started it, you should apologize to him." Hearing that, the registrar looked smugly at Ye Chen. "What if I don't apologize? They'll cancel your hukou, and the resources issued to you by the military will also be withdrawn." Ye Chen couldn't help but laugh. "Can you represent the military?" Hu Jun took a deep breath and said, "No, but I can drive you out of Tianqing City." Hu Jun was determined to protect his brother-in-law, believing he could handle the matter. Ye Chen had completed his class change yesterday afternoon, and the country must have already received the news. Logically, with the appearance of an SS rank class changer, the country would certainly send someone to contact Ye Chen. But almost a day had passed, and no one had contacted Ye Chen, which meant that although Ye Chen was an SS rank professional, the country still had no confidence in the summoner class. "I will remember what happened today." Ye Chen looked up at Hu Jun, then walked out of the tent without looking back. "Lan Ge, what was all that noise about? Did you get the weapon?" Tao Hong asked. Ye Chen shook his head helplessly and then recounted what had just happened. "Damn it. I've always thought these bureaucratic bastards look down on others. That mayor is also an idiot, willing to offend an SS rank class changer just to protect his brother-in-law. I don't know what's going on in his head." "It's okay, Lan Ge. At worst, we can move to another city. He'll go with you. Brothers stick together." Tao Hong patted his chest. "We'll talk later. For now, your task is to go to the newbie dungeon. We'll deal with the rest later." Ye Chen was unlikely to be able to enter the newbie dungeon. "If you're not going, why would I go?" Before Tao Hong could finish, their homeroom teacher Zhu Kai came running over, panting. "Ye Chen, go into the dungeon first." Ye Chen was taken aback and was about to explain, but Zhu Kai waved his hand and said, "I've heard about it. It's fine. You go into the dungeon first. I've already smoothed things over. We'll talk about anything else when you come out." Although he didn't know what was going on, Ye Chen nodded anyway. Free experience was not to be passed up. "Have you heard? Ye Chen from No. 1 high school actually argued with the mayor. He was expelled from the city. Truly a fearless newborn calf, unfazed by tigers. It's only because Ye Chen is a summoner. If he were any other profession, the mayor would have to bow and scrape to him." "Master Ling, I thought you were about to clash with that Ye Chen. I'm arrogant, but not foolish. Even if he had become a chef, he'd still be a solid SS rank jaw changer. You have no idea how terrifying SS rank truly is. Mark my words, the mayor of Tianqing City will end up in deep trouble." Ling muttered coldly. He was the student who had just complained about Ye Chen squeezing him. Clang. As the bell tolled, the Green Grass Prairie dungeon fully opened, running from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. "Lazy bro, stay safe," Tao Hong said. Ye Chen chuckled. "Don't worry. Over the Green Grass Prairie, who doesn't offer a smoke to the lazy bro?" Ye Chen then plunged into the dungeon teleportation array. Darkness engulfed him, the world spun, and when he opened his eyes, the square had transformed into an endless prairie. Not far away, some small antelopes grazed, looking utterly adorable. Ye Chen raised his hand and summoned Agumen. "Ye Chen, can you stop putting me back in that space? It feels so stuffy in there," Agumen complained in a slightly hoarse voice. Ye Chen smiled and said, "All right, but it depends on how you perform today. Start with a sheep to practice." Agumen glanced at the nearby antelope, looking endearingly naive, and said reluctantly, "Sheep are so cute. How could I kill a sheep?" As soon as he spoke, the antelope looked up at them, a hint of disdain in its eyes. Despite his words, Agumen walked toward the antelope. But just as he was 2 steps away, the antelope suddenly reared up, its muscles bulging. Holy crap! Ye Chen was startled by the antelope's transformation. Muscle Ram Head, level 1, HP 200, attack 30, skill Rage Strike. Leaps high and delivers a crushing blow, dealing massive damage with a small chance of stunning. Description: never be fooled by an antelope's appearance. Though its meat is tender, its weak facade may be a disguise. The Muscle Ram Head had already leaped mid-transformation, charging straight at Agumen, convinced it was already dead. But reality was stern. Agumen merely raised a paw and casually swiped, instantly cleaving the Muscle Ram Head in two. Successfully killed. Muscle Ram Head gained 10 EXP, obtained Wool X1, 10 points of experience. Not bad. 10 kills, and I'll reach level 2. Ye Chen stored the wool with some satisfaction. Even a mosquito's leg is meat. Maybe after the dungeon, he could craft a thick fleece-lined coat. Ye Chen, I'm hungry, Agumen suddenly said. Didn't we just finish breakfast? No meat. Then roast that sheep. Wasn't it said to be tender? Ye Chen pointed at the antelope carcass. You got it. Baby flame. Minutes later, the aroma of roasted whole lamb filled the grassland. 10 more ram heads came looking for trouble along the way, now serving as backup meals. Ye Chen also leveled up to 2 thanks to those ram heads. Name Ye Chen Class Dragon Summoner SS Rank Level 2 5200 HP 1200 MP 120 SDR 12 INE 30 AGI 12 remaining free attribute points 5 per level talent unique. Can only contract one exclusive Dragon-type summon beast talent Dragon Bond. When the Dragon Summoner has multiple Dragon-type summons, all stats increase by 25. When only one stats increase by 100 skill rage equipment thick fleece-lined pants common quality, watching Agumon eat with grease dripping from its mouth Ye Chen finally couldn't resist and joined in the feast. The muscle ram heads reverted to antelope form after death, otherwise Ye Chen wouldn't dare eat them. Ye Chen, I'm full. Let's get started. After eating, Agumon was eager. Not yet. Ye Chen waved his hand because he noticed that after reaching level 2, the ram head experience had dropped from 10 to 5 points. If he continued hunting ram heads here, it would be a waste of time. The textbook mentioned that deeper into the green grass, prairie monster levels increased with the deepest reaching an astonishing level 7. Let's go straight to the deeper areas. Ye Chen decided. With Agumon's current strength, even a level 7 monster could be one shot. 3 hours later. WDNMD, this map is ridiculously huge. Ye Chen couldn't help complaining. After walking for 3 full hours, he finally encountered a level 6 monster. Lone Wolf, level 6 HP, 1200 attack, 200 skill, sharp claw. Swing sharp claws, dealing massive damage to a single target. Description: they say lone wolves that roam alone are exceptionally powerful. Agumon, are you tired? Full of energy. Walking doesn't drain my stamina at all. Then start from here and keep grinding inward. You got it. Agumon dashed off without a second thought. I'm a bit tired. Fortunately, Ye Chen had prepared a folding chair which he took out from his bag and laid down to read a novel on his phone. Universal job change Dragon Summoner. Isn't that about me? Must read carefully. Agumon, don't go too far. I'm afraid a monster might ambush me. After saying that, Ye Chen immersed himself in the novel. Baby Flame. Successfully killed lone wolf, gained 60 EXP. Wow, why do summoners in novels always have a bevy of beauties? Claw. Successfully killed lone wolf, gained 60 EXP. This female lead is truly devoted to the protagonist. All I have is a cross-dressing guy. Baby Flame. Agumon, are you hungry? I still have 5 roast sheep. I'll grind a bit more before eating. Are you thirsty? I have some ice-cold cola. Actually, I am a bit thirsty. Successfully killed lone wolf, gained 60 EXP. Level up to 3. Successfully killed lone wolf, gained 50 EXP. Level up to 4. Outside the dungeon, the tent in the center of the square has been removed and replaced with a gigantic electronic screen displaying the rankings of the top 100 students. Not bad, over 10 students have reached level 4. It seems the momentum this year is quite impressive. Principal Zhao Dawei of School 4 said with a smile. It has been about 5 hours since the dungeon opened, and those students who have reached level 4 are already categorized as the elite among their peers. The principals of the other 3 schools all wore dark expressions and said nothing, as among the 15 students who advanced to level 4, 13 were from School 4. I heard that your School 1 has an S-level student. I also heard there's even an SS-level class changer. I think his name is Ye Chen, right? Principal Zhao Dawei of School 4 said as he noticed no one was responding, and then turned his attention to Principal Li Zhongping of School 1. Li Zhongping replied darkly, our S-level student is in a support role. Their path is different. He continued, as for Ye Chen, it's normal for a summoner to be weak at the beginning, isn't it? Have you ever seen a summoner who can wreak havoc right from the start? The other principals remained silent, merely glancing at the screen and then back at Li Zhongping. Li Zhongping thought the other principals were about to join forces to mock him, so he took the initiative to say, what are you all going to kick me when I'm down too? Principal of School 2 opened his mouth. Zhongping. You should look at the big screen. Huh? Li Zhongping looked at the big screen suspiciously, then stood up in excitement, as the first place on the screen had unexpectedly changed to Ye Chen. Where did Ye Chen come from? He wasn't even on the list just a moment ago. How did he jump to level 5 in an instant? The big screen must be malfunctioning. Principal Zhao Dawei spoke up. He's reached level 6. What speed is this? How could he go from level 5 to level 6 in half a minute? The principals were merely astonished, but Mayor Hu Jun of Tianqing City felt his spirits plummet. Although he was the mayor, he was under the thumb of his wife, and given how much she doted on her brother, he had foolishly opposed Ye Chen. He originally thought that the summoner being a low-tier profession would never amount to anything, yet who could have predicted that just half a day later he would be slapped in the face with a resounding wake-up call. Report. There is no issue with the big screen. Ye Chen's level is genuine. As the repairman's report rang out, the mouths of the principals dropped wide open as if they could swallow an egg. Mayor Hu Jun immediately felt deflated, as even a small glimmer of hope was instantly extinguished. Darling, you fly slowly, be careful of the thorny roses ahead. A phone rang. It was a call from his secretary. Mayor, it's bad. There's something online. What's online? I'm busy right now. Don't call me. Hu Jun shouted, then hung up the phone. Sigh. It seems I underestimated the SS level class changers too much. Meanwhile, over at the square, Li Zhongping was grinning from ear to ear. Oh dear, I told Ye Chen to keep a low profile and not to show too much strength, yet he still couldn't resist. Hey, how come I just said a couple of sentences, and now he's already at level 8? Dawei, I truly envy you. Only Ye Chen from our school made it to first place on the top 10 list, while the remaining spots 28 were completely swept by your school, huh? Li Zhongping quickly covered his mouth, almost laughing out loud just now. Now it was Principal Zhao Dawei of school who wore a dark expression and said nothing, while the other principals chuckled, finding it oddly satisfying to see him being put in his place. In the neighboring Yinshan City, Mayor Zhang, who was currently browsing a video online featuring Ye Chen and Mayor Hu Jun of Tianqing City. It turned out that when Ye Chen confronted Hu Jun, a nearby student secretly recorded it on their phone and uploaded it online. There are only 2 SS-level class changers in the entire Blue Star, and one of them has already become a war god. Is the second one's worth less? Did that old fool Hu Jun drink fake liquor? How dare he provoke him? He must really love his wife. Zhang Ke couldn't help but scoff. Although Yinshan City and Tianqing City were neighbors, they were also fierce rivals. The province had limited resources, so the strong always took the lead. In the past, Tianqing City would take 8 shares, leaving Yinshan City with just 2. Furthermore, this year Yinshan City had awakened fewer high-level class changers than before. Yet Tianqing City had produced both an S-level and an SS-level class changer with exceptional talent. Originally, Zhang Ke had given up hope, but after watching this video he felt as if he had found a lifeline. Mayor, should we go over and try to secure him? Asked the secretary beside him. Indeed, we must snatch this talent. How about this? You set off immediately. No, I'll go personally. Zhang Ke thought for a moment and felt that personally going would show more sincerity. Yinshan City and Tianqing City were very close. He could even arrive before Ye Chen finished his novice dungeon. Prepare the vehicle. Since Tianqing City has the money, let's not hold back. We in Yinshan City won't be polite. Inside the dungeon, Ye Chen was unaware of the commotion outside and was lying on a lounge chair cursing loudly. Damn it, this novel author seems to have eaten shit. He updates so little every day. Isn't this just teasing people? Ye Chen angrily turned off his phone and looked at his level in surprise, saying level 9 already. So fast. Just one more level, and I can claim the exclusive gift. Ye Chen folded up the lounge chair and looked around, finding that the area was already littered with the corpses of lone wolves and even some level 7 monsters. Ye Chen, there are hardly any wild monsters left here. Should we continue deeper? The Aegis beast said after taking a sip of cola. Ye Chen pondered for a moment and said, let's explore a bit further. I read in the textbook that there seems to be a boss at the very depths of the novice dungeon that can drop equipment, but whether that's true or not I don't know. Though the textbook vaguely mentioned a few lines since the dungeon opened, the strongest novice class changers had only reached the place where Ye Chen currently was. No class changers had ever ventured to the... However, given that this novice dungeon was transformed from a real abyss dungeon, one could not dismiss the possibility of some surprises. After walking for over half an hour, the traces of lone wolves disappeared, and level 7 monsters started to appear in greater numbers. Sword Tiger, level 7, HP 1600, attack 245, skill stab, swings its long sword to stab 3 times, dealing massive damage to a single target with a chance to inflict bleeding effect. Description: did you think it was a saber-toothed tiger? Actually, it's a tiger wielding a sword. Do you think it will bite you to death? No, it will stab you to death, Ye Chen asked with concern. Don't worry, I'm just hungry, the Aegis beast said before rushing out again. Successfully killed Sword Tiger, gains 60 EXP. Successfully killed Sword Tiger, gains 60 EXP. After a period of time, Ye Chen's experience had reached half of level 9, but the surrounding wild monsters had become exceedingly scarce. In the end, he spent a long time without encountering a single wild monster. Ye Chen, there are hardly any wild monsters left around here. What should we do now? Yago picked up a leg of lamb and began to eat. Ye Chen lowered his head, lost in thought. Now there were 2 choices. The first was to turn back. Although the level 6 and 7 wild monsters had been nearly wiped out, the monsters ahead had barely been disturbed due to the journey. The advantage of this was stability. There would definitely be monsters to kill. The disadvantage was that since Ye Chen's level was already higher than the monsters, the experience gained would be greatly reduced. The second choice was to gamble on the existence of a dungeon boss deep within the green grass prairie. If it existed and he killed it, there was hope of reaching level 10. Conversely, if it didn't exist, it meant a wasted trip, and the remaining time would be insufficient for Ye Chen to turn back and launch a counterattack. Even if he turned back now and annihilated all the low-level wild monsters, it probably wouldn't be enough to let Ye Chen reach level 10. After a moment of hesitation, Ye Chen decided to head deep into the green grass prairie and take the... After walking forward for a while, the surrounding scenery didn't change much, still an endless prairie. But the temperature had dropped significantly, and Ye Chen could even see white mist from his breath. This was rather strange. Under such low temperatures, plants shouldn't have been able to grow so lush and green. Continuing forward for a distance, a lake in the distance caught Ye Chen's attention. Around the lake, some creatures seemed to be throwing something into the water. "Yaga, prepare for battle," Ye Chen said. As they approached the lake, Ye Chen could see the full picture. There were two types of monsters around the lake, one with a human body and a horse's head, and the other with a human body and a bull's head. Some were tirelessly throwing huge ice blocks into the lake. The others were transporting ice blocks from deep within the prairie to the lake. In the middle of the lake, on a tiny patch of dry land, sat a creature entirely blue in color. Because the distance was still too far, Ye Chen couldn't make out what it was. After advancing a bit further, Ye Chen finally saw the creature in the middle of the lake. It was a goblin. Unlike ordinary goblins, it wore a frost cloak. Its skin was blue like ice and covered with a fine layer of frost particles that glimmered with a cold light. It was about the same height as the goblins. Ye Chen knew roughly half the size of an adult, but its muscles looked exceptionally solid. That goblin also noticed Ye Chen's presence. It pulled out a blue glowing ice staff from behind and pointed it at Ye Chen. Then the bull and horse monsters around the lake, as if receiving an order, began to surge toward Ye Chen. Bull-headed monster, horse-head monster. Level 8. HP 800. Attack 70. Skills none. Description: due to long-term forced heavy labor carrying ice blocks, their physical functions have been severely damaged. Their frostbitten hands have almost no attack power left. Their rationality has been consumed by the cold. Sometimes killing them might be a relief. Ye Chen looked at the staggering bull-headed and horse-head monsters and sighed reluctantly. So that's why there are only sheep, wolves, and tigers on the green grass prairie. The bulls and horses have all come here. Truly, wherever there is life, there is exploitation. Ye Chen, what do bulls and horses mean? Yaga blinked its big green eyes, looking puzzled. Well, this question is quite profound. You'll understand later, Ye Chen said dismissively. Oh, then what about these wild monsters? I feel like they can barely stand, Yaga asked. Ye Chen had originally intended to spare these bulls and horses. After all, they were pitiful creatures, and even if he killed them, the experience gained would be a drop in the bucket. But then he recalled the description: their rationality had been consumed. Even if left alive, these bulls and horses would only continue repeating their previous actions like puppets. Make it quick and try to let them suffer as little as possible, Ye Chen said. Yaga nodded, raised its 4 dragon claws, and charged out. Yaga moved with incredible speed. The bull-headed and horse-head monsters barely had time to react before they collapsed stiffly without much pain. After a few dozen seconds, Yaga returned to Ye Chen's side. There was no time to mourn for these bulls and horses because the goblin had walked from the center of the lake to the shore. Yes, walked. Each step caused the cold, misty lake water to instantly freeze beneath its feet. Frost Goblin Boss Monster. Level 18. HP 3500. Attack 550. Skill 1. Frost Shield summons ice energy to form a shield that absorbs a certain amount of damage and upon breaking freezes nearby enemies. Skill 2. Frost Arrow Rain summons multiple frost arrows that fall from the sky, continuously striking enemies in a designated area with a chance to inflict frostbite. Description: a mutated creature evolved from an ordinary goblin, extremely difficult to deal with. However, it is said that all of the Frost Goblin's spells come from the Frost Staff in its hand. I wonder if it can still cast spells if its weapon is taken away. Ye Chen looked at the data of the Frost Goblin before him and smiled. His worries vanished instantly. He had thought it would be a troublesome boss, but its HP was only half of Yaga's, and its attack was barely over 1/4. Seeing the Frost Goblin's contemptuous gaze, Ye Chen, regardless of whether it could understand, directly taunted, "In this world, you need power and backing. I thought you were some big shot, but you were just a small fry." The goblin showed no change in expression, only slowly raising its staff toward the sky. The temperature around Yagu and Ye Chen dropped another notch. Ye Chen looked up and saw a blue vortex suddenly appear above them with specks of blue light emerging from within, instantly raining down dense Frost Arrow Rain. Yagu. Small flame. Yagu instantly understood and shot a small flame upward. The falling frost and the flame met, instantly vaporizing into steam, and the vortex above disappeared. The Frost Goblin realized that its previous tactics were ineffective, withdrew its staff, and lightly tapped the ground. Suddenly a swirl of cold air erupted around it, enveloping its surroundings. Ice shield. Let's see just how thick that shield really is. Ancient Beast. Clawed. The ancient beast lunged forward with its claws aimed at the Frost Goblin, and in an instant the attack struck the Frost Goblin with full force. Bang! The Frost Goblin was sent flying 4 to 5 meters, and the surrounding cold air exploded violently, revealing a string of numbers above the ancient beast's head. 10. This was the first time the ancient beast had taken damage. The Frost Goblin struggled to stand up, which surprised Ye Chen. It had actually withstood the full force of the ancient beast's attack. The Frost Goblin looked at the ancient beast, its eyes filled with fear and a hint of confusion. It could not comprehend why its ice shield only caused the yellow creature before it to lose 10 points of health. Ye Chen noticed the frost goblin's confusion and mocked. Don't you know that fire is strong against ice? You might as well change your name to Earthworm Goblin. The frost goblin clearly did not understand Ye Chen's words. Its small blue eyes spun wildly, and its body began to slowly retreat. It wanted to escape. The frost goblin suddenly turned around and leaped, attempting to jump into the lake. Small flame. Before Ye Chen could issue a command, the ancient beast had already unleashed its flames. The unfortunate frost goblin was hit directly by the small flames in the air, crashing heavily to the ground, transforming spectacularly into a flame goblin before it perished. Successfully defeated the frost goblin boss monster. Experience gained 2,400. Boss loot box 1. Weapon obtained frost staff rare. Frost power obtained a rare material containing frost energy usable for crafting ice attribute weapons or armor. Congratulations on achieving the Ice and Fire Duality achievement. Ice and Fire Duality, you completed a splendid transformation of the Frost Goblin into a Flame Goblin. The Frost body is dead, but the Flame heart remains. Exclusive attribute intelligence increased by 1. Level raised to level 10. Congratulations to the host for receiving an exclusive gift pack 1. Oh, an unexpected gain. To his surprise, after roasting the Frost Goblin, there was an unexpected achievement. Although it only increased by 1 in the later stages, that 1 would indeed be a significant boost. Detected that the dungeon boss has been defeated, you will be forcibly exited in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8. In the square, everyone was intently watching the leaderboard on the large screen. Level 10. Principal Zhao Dawei looked at Ye Chen, who was level 10 on the leaderboard, and then glanced at the second place. Level 5. He couldn't help but click his tongue. Even Li Zhongping, who had been mocking moments ago, was at a loss for words. In the past, the highest record for novice class changers entering the Green Pasture dungeon was only level 6. It should be noted that as the levels progress, the experience required increases exponentially. From level 6 to level 10, the experience needed for just those 4 levels is enough for several class changers to level up from 1 to 6. An SSS talent class changer. Truly remarkable. Just as everyone was chattering away, a notification caused the entire square to fall silent. Notification. Congratulations to novice class changer Ye Chen for defeating the Frost Goblin boss in the Green Pasture dungeon for the first time. Obtained first completion gift pack 1. The boss of the Green Pasture dungeon has changed from Frost Goblin to Flame Goblin. Silence. A complete silence. Half a minute later, Li Zhongping was the first to break the silence. So is there still a boss in the Green Pasture dungeon? I'm not too sure either. I've had students for 40 years, and the most talented ones barely face level 6 monsters. And they are no match for them. I do remember something mentioned in the textbook, but no students have ever managed to reach there, so I didn't pay attention to it. Well, putting other things aside, I'm just puzzled about why the Frost Goblin changed to the Flame Goblin. Hearing this, everyone fell into deep thought. Meanwhile, Mayor Hu Jun was angrily cursing, and beside him was his brother-in-law. Brother-in-law, why do I have to apologize to him? Isn't he just a summoner? Are you deaf? Can't you see the long string of notifications on the system interface? I'm telling you, you must apologize to him later. Otherwise, once I lose my job as mayor, you and your sister with your arrogant personalities will have no one to take care of you. Hu Jun's face turned grim with anger, but it wasn't because of his troublesome brother-in-law or his wife, who spoiled her brother. He was furious with Ye Chen. If Ye Chen was truly this level useless summoner he imagined, he wouldn't have to be here fuming. Oh, Mayor, who are you so angry with? A voice reached Hu Jun's ears. Hu Jun turned his head in confusion, and his already grim face darkened further. Mayor Zhang, why aren't you staying well in Yunshan City? What brings you to our Tianqing City? Mayor Hu, what you say, I came specifically to thank you. You are truly a benefactor of our Yunshan City. Of course I am also here to pick someone up, Zhang Ke said with a beaming smile. Hu Jun was taken aback. The two had never gotten along well, and he hadn't given Zhang Ke anything, so why would Zhang Ke come to thank him? Although Hu Jun felt something was off, his mind was in chaos, and he had no time to think about it, so he waved his hand and said, I don't know what you're talking about, but it has nothing to do with me. If you have something to do, go ahead and do it, and don't bother me here. Zhang Ke smiled meaningfully, and then walked away. At that moment, Ye Chen was still in transit, grinning at the gift pack he had just received. He then saw a flash of white before regaining his vision, having already been teleported out. Ye Chen is out. Didn't the dungeon still have an hour left? What is he doing out? Is he celebrating New Year in there? Li Zhongping, seeing Ye Chen emerge, immediately beamed, and wanted to go greet him, but several men in black suits with briefcases walked ahead. Isn't that Mayor Zhang Ke from Yunshan City? What is he doing here? The second middle school principal recognized Zhang Ke at a glance, having seen him a few times. Mayor of Yunshan City. Li Zhongping was taken aback. He was not aware of the conflict between Ye Chen and Hu Jun, so he wondered why the mayor of Yunshan City was here. However, after thinking for a moment, Li Zhongping decided not to go over hastily. As Ye Chen stepped out of the teleportation array, he was greeted by several men in black suits who quickly approached him. Hello, you must be Ye Chen, right? Congratulations on being the first to complete the Green Grassland instance. I've heard so much about the power of an Psy-class profession, and seeing it in person today is indeed extraordinary. Zhang Ke said with a smile. Who are you? Ye Chen looked at the middle-aged man with a smiling face, his eyes filled with sincerity. Oh, my apologies, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Zhang Ke, and I am currently the mayor of Yinshan City. I came here specifically to take you home. Zhang Ke emphasized the words back home with a particular tone. At that moment, Ye Chen understood Zhang Ke's intention. Earlier that morning, he had a conflict with the mayor of Tianqing City, who threatened to expel him from the city. That evening, the mayor of Yinshan City came to say he wanted to take Ye Chen home. As for which home it was, the answer was already evident. Seeing Ye Chen deep in thought, Zhang Ke continued to seize the opportunity, saying, Ye Chen, I can tell from your dispute with Hu Jun that you are a person who does not easily back down. As an S-level transfer student, you should possess this kind of pride. Tianqing City cannot accommodate your pride, but Yinshan City can. Zhang Ke's words struck a chord with Ye Chen. Indeed, he had pride. Previously, due to his significant debts and being an orphan, he had to bury that pride deep within. But now it was different. Although Ye Chen had only been a transfer student for a day, the aura of an SSS professional granted him the capital to be proud. However, before Ye Chen could respond, Hu Jun rushed over with a group of people. Zhang Ke, what do you mean by this? Are you trying to poach from me? Hu Jun approached and questioned, Is this how you thank me? Zhang Ke looked at Hu Jun mockingly and replied, What else would it be? Do you think I owe you any thanks? Thank you for being old. Thank you for not showering daily. Hu Jun scoffed, ignoring Zhang Ke, and turned to Ye Chen, saying, Ye Chen, this was all a misunderstanding. I brought him here to apologize to you in front of everyone. After Hu Jun finished, he pulled his little nephew out. You want to apologize to me? Ye Chen asked, looking at Hu Jun's nephew with great interest. I might have been too emotional earlier, and I apologize. But you. Before he could finish, Ye Chen suddenly interrupted, saying, I do not accept your apology. Your apology means nothing to me. The little nephew was about to explode, but was shot down by a glare from Hu Jun. Ye Chen, what do you want then? Hu Jun asked. I want you to publicly apologize to me here, Ye Chen said calmly. Hu Jun, instead of getting angry, laughed and questioned, First of all, I am a level 40 transfer student. Do you think I would apologize to a student simply based on that? Moreover, did I do anything wrong? Hu Jun continued, What is there to discuss? Come visit us in Yinshan City. Sometime find a nice restaurant, and he'll treat you. Just don't die on me. Ye Chen replied earnestly. I'm sorry, I suddenly thought of something amusing, Zhang Ke said, covering his mouth as he laughed. Previously, Zhang Ke had always viewed Hu Jun as a formidable opponent. But today he suddenly realized that this opponent was far from normal. His line of thinking must be flawed. Even at this point, he was still clinging to his trivial pride. Hu Jun said with a grim face. Ye Chen, having him come here to apologize is already my greatest concession. People should know their place. Do not overestimate your worth. There are always greater. Even vegetables are divided into high-end and low-end. No matter what the final outcome of a dish is, to be eaten or thrown away. Did you study recipes during your 9 years of compulsory education? Always talking about this dish and that dish. Hu Jun's lips twitched as he suppressed his anger and said, Fine, since that's the case, let's wait and see. After Hu Jun finished speaking, he waved his hand and left without looking back. Secretary Lu Freeze, Ye Chen's household registration. He wants to leave, huh? He'll make sure he can't go anywhere. As long as he remains in Tianqing City, I have plenty of ways to deal with him. He'll make sure he can't even enter the abyss. Hu Jun said viciously. Mayor Hu, I'm afraid that's not possible. Ye Chen's household registration is not here, but is in Jinshan County of Tianqing City. Isn't that still part of Tianqing City? Hu Jun suddenly remembered that due to Jinshan County's extreme backwardness, he had transferred Jinshan County to another city 4 years ago. Hu Jun rubbed his aching temples. At this point, he couldn't possibly admit his fault, could he? All right. That person who helped Ye Chen enter the instance this morning was named Zhu Kai, right? He's Ye Chen. Get him to pack his things and leave immediately. Isn't he fond of interceding? Let him intercede as much as he wants. Hu Jun was now utterly frustrated. Anyone would do. He needed to vent his anger. Mayor Hu. Zhu Kai has accepted an invitation from Yinshan City and has already resigned from the first high school. The secretary said quietly. Damn. Hu Jun finally exploded in anger, shouting, A bunch of useless idiots. You can't even handle this small matter. What good are you to me? The secretary bowed his head in grievance, not daring to retort. After all, they were earning blood and sweat money. In the square, Zhang Ke gave a thumbs up and praised. Ye Chen, I've always thought my words were sharp enough, but I didn't expect there to be a master like you. After chatting for a while, Zhang Ke promised that Ye Chen could settle in Yinshan City at any time, and he would take care of the issues regarding residence and household registration. After exchanging contact information, Zhang Ke left with his entourage. Li Zhongping saw Zhang Ku and the others leave before approaching Ye Chen, patting him on the shoulder with a sigh. Ye Chen, I just heard about your situation. To be honest, as the principal of the first high school in Tianqing City, I do not wish for you to leave. But as your principal and elder, I support your decision to leave. If you stay in Tianqing City, you will definitely be targeted by Hu Jun. Principal. Ye Chen looked at the kind, old man in front of him, feeling somewhat moved. The principal had always treated him well during high school, often bringing him food and clothes during breaks. Grandpa Zhongping, no matter where I develop, I will always be your student, Ye Chen said earnestly. You brat, it seems my 3 years of care for you were not in vain, but there's no need to be so sentimental. The two cities are so close. Even if you can't come to Tianqing City, I can still visit you in Yinshan City. However, I believe it won't be long before you can return to Tianqing City openly. By then Hu Jun will probably be nothing in your eyes. Li Zhongping said with a smile. Alright, let's leave it at that for now. The instance has ended, and I have to get busy. The system prompt sounded, indicating that 9 hours had passed, and the green pasture instance had closed with a large number of students being teleported out. Lazy brother. With a sharp eye, Tao Hong quickly pinpointed Ye Chen's location and jogged over. Lazy brother, I received messages even while in the instance. Really impressive. So what level did you reach? Tao Hong asked. Barely level 10. Lost a few levels. Level 10, what's wrong with that? You're like a wooden board. I dared not even drink water in the instance. After 9 exhausting hours, I only reached level 4 with 95 experience. Now tell me you're level 10. This is worse than killing me. Lazy brother. Dad, think of a way to lower a few levels. I beg you. Ye Chen rolled his eyes and said, I'll help you level up. Hee, let's go. Son will make you braised chicken wings at home. In Tianqing City Lanwei community, where Ye Chen and Tao Hong lived. Lanwei community, also known as the unfinished community. Ye Chen often lamented the person behind this name, truly a talent. Dad, try the braised chicken wings I made. In Ye Chen's home, Tao Hong brought out a plate of chicken wings that looked shiny, but were overly dark. Eat? Why, just look at it. Eat. Damn it. Why aren't you eating? I mean, Comrade Pangolin, can this be eaten? It's blacker than your face when you draw cards. Ye Chen, suppressing his nausea, tapped the chicken wings in the plate with his chopsticks. Crack, the chopsticks broke. What do you mean I can't eat it? It's just that the soy sauce was a bit too much. I'll eat to show you. After saying this, Tao Hong picked up a chicken wing and stuffed it into her mouth. Crack. Lazy brother, can you find my tooth that fell out? Later I need a priest to help me fix it. Replacing one is pretty expensive. Ye Chen disdainfully dumped all the chicken wings into the trash can. Just then a knock on the door sounded, and Ye Chen opened it. Pig brother, what brings you here? Ye Chen asked, looking at Zhu Kai standing at the door with some confusion. Nothing, just came to check on you. Tao Hong is also here. What are you looking for? Zhu Kai asked, looking at Tao Hong, who was kneeling on the ground covering her mouth. It's nothing, teacher, don't mind me, just lost a couple of teeth, a small matter. Alright then. Zhu Kai didn't ask further, sitting on the sofa and saying, Ye Chen, today during the day the mayor of Yinshan City Zhang Ku contacted me inviting me to become the director at Yinshan City No. 1 High School. Ye Chen nodded as Zhang Ku had already mentioned this to him. Originally I didn't intend to accept, but thinking it over, if I stayed in Tianqing City, I'd probably face targeting from Hu Jun, so I eventually agreed. Moreover, I think with your temperament you would agree too, Zhu Kai explained. Pig brother understands me well. I also agreed to develop in Yinshan City. Ye Chen said. Upon hearing this, Tao Hong quickly stood up, covering her mouth, and saying, Lazy brother, what will I do if you both leave? Don't worry, I won't forget you. I've already talked to Mayor Zhang Ku to transfer our household registration over there. Won't I be the head of the household then? Tao Hong said with a smile. Ye Chen was a bit speechless. What kind of logic is that? Zhu Kai lit a cigarette and handed one to Ye Chen and Tao Hong. Taking a deep drag, he exhaled smoke and said, Ye Chen, I know your temperament, which is why I specially came here today. Although you are currently an SS level job changer, your level hasn't increased, and your capabilities are quite limited. So you must avoid any major conflicts with Hu Jun. This person is very petty, and if he truly retaliates against you without regard for anything, you will definitely suffer a great loss. After all, he is also a level 40 job changer. Ye Chen nodded in agreement, as he wasn't foolish. According to the current attributes of the Yaga Beast, he could still fight against job changers in their 20s. But if he encountered a level 40 job changer, he probably wouldn't last 2 moves. This is the gap brought by attributes. Fortunately, Hu Jun is only level 40. If he were level 50, it would be even more difficult. Job changers unlock the Awakening Abyss at level 50. If they pass through it, their attributes will experience explosive growth. Ye Chen had read about it in books before. The Awakening Abyss, commonly known as the second job change, can only continue to level up if one clears it, otherwise they will remain stuck at level 50 for life. On Blue Star, numerous job changers remain stuck at level 50 for life. It's not that they can't clear the Awakening Abyss, most simply lack the courage. This is because the fatality rate in the Awakening Abyss is exceedingly high. Even the first summoner was killed there. As for what realms exist after the second job change, no one knows, because as of now the highest level job changer on Blue Star is the Ward Godling Alfing at level 79. This is considered a cliff-like lead. The second highest is a job changer from the beautiful country at only level 68. However, Ye Chen believes he will catch up to them in no time. Once job changers reach level 10, they can access the first stage of the Abyss instance for leveling. The Abyss instance cannot be compared to the Novice instance. The experience and various rewards are many times higher, but it also comes with the risk of death. There is an item called the Resurrection Badge which can negate one death effect and grant rebirth, but such life-saving items are exorbitantly expensive, with one costing as much as 4 million. Ye Chen cannot afford that right now. After Zhu Kai finished his last drag of the cigarette, he stood up and said, "Alright, it's getting late. I still need to go back to pack my things. See you in Yinshan City." However, just as he was walking toward the door, he suddenly noticed several oval-shaped black objects in the trash can. Zhu Kai's face changed in surprise as he hurriedly picked up the garbage bag, whispering angrily, "I wondered why I smelled a strong odor when I came in. Ye Chen, do you know that making grenades privately is illegal?" "Huh? What? Grenade?" Ye Chen looked confused, and Tao Hong beside him was equally puzzled. "Forget it, I'll take care of this. You two just go to Yinshan City and stop thinking about nonsense. A gentleman takes revenge, it's never too late," Zhu Kai said resolutely. Pig brother, is there a chance that what's in that garbage bag is chicken wings?" Ye Chen explained awkwardly while also giving Tao Hong a glare. Zhu Kai was taken aback, then opened the garbage bag and carefully took out a grenade to inspect. After a long time, Zhu Kai finally looked up and said, "Ye Chen, your skills shouldn't be able to produce such an exquisite item. This should be made by Tao Hong, right?" "Teacher, I made it. I added too little water and too much soy sauce," Tao Hong said awkwardly. Zhu Kai gave a thumbs up. "Military genius. Being a job changer is a waste of your talent." Nighttime. Tao Hong has already returned home, while Ye Chen sits alone on the bed, his face filled with excitement as he gazes at the spoils from this novice dungeon. Frost Staff, rare equipped class, Mage Summoner Priest. Equipped level 10. Attributes intelligence 100, skill damage 5, casting speed 15. Skill Ice Shield summons icy energy to form a shield that absorbs 2,000 damage and freezes surrounding enemies upon breaking. Description: the most cherished possession of the Frost Goblin and the source of all its magic. Ye Chen is quite satisfied with this staff, though a shield with 2,000 health is a decent life-saving skill. A summoner generally does not need to engage directly in combat. Their primary task is to enhance their summoned beasts with various buffs. The second task is to find a hiding spot to ensure their safety. If a summoner falls in battle, their summoned beast will also vanish. This is another common flaw of summoners. Resurrection badges are not very useful to them. After a summoner falls and is resurrected, they must resummon, but if the summoned beast is forced to disappear, the summoning will go into cooldown. This means that after being resurrected, the summoner cannot summon any beasts and must fight personally. However, a level 50 summoner without a summoned beast would likely struggle against even a level 40 class changer. With the Frost Staff equipped, Ye Chen opened the boss chest and the first clear chest. "Congratulations, you have obtained the Ice Crystal Robe. Congratulations, you have obtained Materials Heart of the Goblin. Ice Crystal Robe rare. Equipped class any. Equipped level 10. Attributes health 500, ice resistance 10, magic 200, defense 150. Equipment effect: when attacked, there is a chance to freeze the enemy. This is also quite good." Ye Chen didn't hesitate to equip the new gear. As for the Ice Essence and the Heart of the Goblin, he planned to auction them directly in the marketplace. The materials are of no use to him. Ye Chen is not a blacksmith. Moreover, with Ye Chen's leveling speed, he wouldn't need the equipment for long before needing an upgrade, so crafting is quite unnecessary. He opened the marketplace and placed all the materials inside. Heart of the Goblin recommended starting price 10000. Ice Essence recommended starting price 15000. What a low price. Ye Chen was taken aback by the starting price. He didn't expect these two materials to be so valuable. After all, Ye Chen's total assets barely exceeded 10000. Wow, this is amazing. After setting the starting prices, Ye Chen no longer paid attention, as he still had a special gift pack to open after reaching level 10. Open the exclusive gift pack. The exclusive gift pack has been opened for the host. Congratulations, the host has obtained Evolution Shards 100. Congratulations, the host has obtained Courage Shards 50. Congratulations, the host has obtained Summoned Beast Equipment Flame Fong. Flame Fong Epic. Attack Power 200. Effect: Fire Skill Damage increased by 200. Wow. Epic Equipment. The fire skill damage increase is incredible. This is truly a divine artifact for Agumon's use. And it also grants 100 evolution shards. Doesn't this mean Agumon can evolve again? Ye Chen was very pleased with the contents of the exclusive gift pack. Although the quantity was a bit small, the quality was excellent. But what are these courage shards? Ye Chen asked, somewhat confused. Post-courage shards are essential materials needed for evolving from the mature stage to the complete form. I see. Ye Chen, entering the summoner's space. Agumon is currently lying on the ground looking very restless. It seems it really doesn't like staying here, just like Ash's Pikachu doesn't like being in a Pokeball. Agumon, let's enhance your strength. Ye Chen did not hesitate and directly piled all the evolution shards he had into Agumon. The surrounding airflow instantly became chaotic as Agumon's body was enveloped in a layer of dazzling light, the strong brightness so intense that it was hard to look directly at. Agumon was undergoing an astonishing transformation within the brilliant light. He saw its size rapidly begin to swell, its bones reshaping within the light, muscles becoming firmer, its body changing from yellow to orange, adorned with special blue stripes, and a sharp horn on its head that looked incredibly lethal. Agumon evolves. Tyrannomon. Cool. Ye Chen exclaimed loudly, and then equipped the Dragon Fang to Tyrannomon. Tyrannomon mature. Health 20000. Attack power 6200. Speed 700. Skill 1, Super Flame, capable of causing widespread flame damage with high destructive power, chance to inflict burn effect on enemies. Skill 2, Great Horn, uses its massive horn for consecutive attacks powerful enough to inflict lethal damage on a single enemy. Skill 3, Tail Whip, attacks with its tail capable of causing area damage to nearby enemies. Materials required for evolution: 500 evolution shards, 100 courage shards. Equipped gear: Flame Fang. Wow, this is really impressive. Ye Chen exclaimed. He wasn't very clear about the strength of a level 30 class changer, but he definitely had the qualifications to fight now. After this evolution, dealing with a stage 1 abyss would be a breeze, and with 3 supporting allies, Ye Chen's experience would increase significantly. However, there is still one problem. Tyrannomon does not like staying in the summoner's space, but its current size is rather enormous, making it quite inconvenient to keep it outside. System prompt: summoned beasts can devolve to the growth stage at minimum and can evolve again when necessary. Repeated evolution does not consume additional materials. Obtain Sacred Plan 1. Sacred Plan. This is exactly what I wished for. Ye Chen exclaimed as he looked at the small device in his hand, then exited the summoner's space and released the already devolved Agumon. Now that Ye Chen has Tyrannomon, he no longer needs to worry about combat power. Now he only needs to consider his own safety. While exploring the secret realms, it was relatively safe, as those monsters wouldn't think too much, they would attack whoever hit them. But encountering a class changer would be different, as everyone knows the principle of capturing the king to catch the thief. Name: Ye Chen. Class: Dragon-type Summoner, SSS rank. Level 10, 120, 6430. Health 6533. Magic 950. Strength 30. Intelligence 502. Agility 54. Remaining free attribute allocation points 0. 5 additional points per level up. Talent: unique, can only contract one exclusive Dragon-type summoned beast. Talent: Dragon Bond. When the Dragon-type summoner has multiple Dragon-type summoned beasts, all attributes of the summoned beasts increase by 25. When the Dragon-type summoner has only one Dragon-type summoned beast, its attributes are increased by 100. Skill: Rampage. Gear: Frost Staff rare, Ice Crystal Robe rare, Thick Padded Pants common. Ye Chen stroked his chin as he looked at his attributes. Logically speaking, his health is already overwhelming compared to other class changers of the same level, but compared to Tyrannomon's health, it gives a sense of insecurity. However, thinking too much is pointless. With more experiences from the Abyss, good equipment will naturally come. The night passed without a word. The next morning, the vehicle from Zhang Ke's faction arrived downstairs, picking up Ye Chen and Tao Hong, and set off towards Yinshan City. Lazy brother, are we going to rent a house when we get there? Tao Hong said with a flirtatious expression, twirling her fake long hair and crossing her legs in her high heels. Shut the hell up. It's because of you, you perverted creep, that I can't find a girlfriend. Ye Chen moved away with a look of disdain. The driver, momentarily taken aback, joked, Mr. Ye Chen, your girlfriend is truly beautiful, but that voice. Quite bold, huh? Ye Chen replied with a wry smile, Master, he's a guy. The driver's hand on the steering wheel visibly trembled, and he displayed a puzzled expression. I see. Seeing the driver's expression made Ye Chen even angrier. I'm definitely going to cut off those golden needles of yours today. I was wrong, lazy brother. After some playful banter, Ye Chen, feeling a bit bored, took out his phone and opened the forum for Yinshan City. Having decided to develop in Yinshan City, it was only natural to gather some information first. However, upon opening the forum, the first pinned post caught Ye Chen's attention. Shocking. Mayor Zhang Ku is inviting SS-level job changers to settle in Yinshan City, and he actually. The number of replies below the post had already reached an astonishing 2,000. Tomorrow the shock department will report immediately. What? There is actually an SS-level job changer among this year's new students. Another marketing account. Brother, does your family have a 2G network? Didn't you see the video of the summoner clashing with the mayor of Tianqing City that went viral yesterday? This isn't a marketing account. I have a buddy studying in Tianqing City, and there really is an SS-level summoner from Tianqing City now. One high school. Moreover, Mayor Zhang Ku has already spoken with him, and in a few days he will come to develop in our Yinshan City. It's hard to come by an SS-level job changer, and he's a summoner. That student is quite pitiful. Why do you feel pity for everyone you see? Your dad is out there working hard without any breaks, and you don't even feel sorry for him. The mayor of Tianqing City is such a big spender. Ye Chen couldn't help but laugh as he read the posts online. The conversations were amusing, and everyone had such eloquent expressions, especially the last comment, which was truly incisive. An hour later, the car drove into a villa area and finally stopped in front of the largest villa where Mayor Zhang Ku was currently waiting at the entrance. After getting out of the car, Zhang Ku approached. Seeing a stunningly beautiful girl beside Ye Chen, he was momentarily taken aback, but he quickly composed himself and said with a smile, "Ye Chen, you're quite lucky to have such a beautiful girlfriend, but weren't you supposed to come with your brother? Why did you bring your girlfriend along?" Ye Chen shot a deadly glare at Tao Hong. Seeing this, Tao Hong quickly took off her wig and stepped forward to explain, "I'm actually his brother Tao Hong. Don't misunderstand, I just enjoy the feeling of dressing as a woman." Ye Chen originally thought this would lead to some awkward explanations, but to his surprise, Zhang Ku only paused for a moment before nodding and saying, "I see. Everyone has their own preferences, as long as it's not harmful to society, it's a minor issue." After Zhang Ku finished speaking, he turned to Ye Chen and asked, "Are you planning to rest for a bit first, or go straight to challenge the abyss?" "I need to level this dead sissy to level 10 before we can enter the abyss together," Ye Chen pointed at Tao Hong. Zhang Ku pondered for a moment, then pulled out a brown pill, saying, "If you're in a hurry, this pill can instantly raise Tao Hong to level 10. Ye Chen was surprised to hear this. Such a good item exists. However, he still shook his head and said, "Brother Zhang, this pill must be very valuable. We can't accept it." Zhang Ku shook his head and replied, "This pill isn't that expensive, but it does have a side effect. Taking this pill will raise you to level 10 instantly, but that level is merely illusory. You'll actually still be at your original level. To solidify it, you must reach level 10 within 2 days, otherwise your level will reset, and you won't gain any experience for the next 2.5 years. If you manage to reach level 10 within 2 days, the experience gained during that time will count as overflow experience, allowing you to level up starting from level 10. Zhang Ku, fearing his explanation wasn't clear enough, added an example. For instance, if you are currently level 7, you need 15,000 experience to reach level 10. If you can raise your strength to level 10 within 2 days, that 15,000 experience will be added on top of your level 10. How much is this pill worth? 5,000. Then thank you, Brother Zhang. We're planning to enter the abyss right now." Ye Chen sincerely expressed his gratitude. Zhang Ku nodded, handing the pill to Tao Hong, and said, "Currently, there are only 2 phases of the abyss in Yinshan City. You can choose either one to study. However, I still advise you to act within your limits. Never blindly choose a nightmare-level abyss. That is not a place you can access at your current level. In the past, there have been 4 S-level job changers who failed when challenging a nightmare-level abyss. To clear a nightmare-level abyss, strength, team composition, and luck are all essential." Ye Chen nodded and said, "Got it, Brother Zhang." After bidding farewell to Zhang Ku, Ye Chen and Tao Hong entered the villa. Wow, 6 rooms and 2 halls. There's even a swimming pool. Brother Zhang really went all out this time. Tao Hong exclaimed, "You go change your clothes, and after we have lunch, we'll head to the abyss." "Okay." Tao Hong dashed off to change her clothes. Ye Chen took out his phone and opened the official website for Yinshan City, where all the abysses were recorded for easy reference by everyone. A few minutes later, Tao Hong came out dressed in typical men's clothing. "So which abyss are we going to?" Tao Hong asked. Ye Chen replied, "There are 2 Phase 1 abysses in total. Mountain Village Horror Stories and Eerie Wedding Banquet. The Eerie Wedding Banquet has complete online records for nightmare level clearance, so it's relatively simple. No one has cleared the Mountain Village Horror Stories at nightmare level yet, so I plan for us to go to the Eerie Wedding Banquet first to practice our skills." Tao Hong couldn't help but twitch her mouth upon hearing Ye Chen's words, nightmare level. Practice. These 2 phrases together sound a bit confusing to me. Didn't Brother Zhang say not to enter nightmare level abysses? Stop talking nonsense. Are we going or not? Are you confident? Of course. Damn it, let's do it. Lazy brother, don't worry. Wherever you want to go, I will go without a second thought. I'm your most loyal burden. Yinshan City. In the first stage abyss hall, the staff were dozing off on their chairs, and there were only a handful of job changers in the hall. Why are there so few people? Tao Hong noticed that there were only a few dozen job changers in the hall, some of whom were recruiting teammates. After all, there should be at least 1,000 people for the novice dungeon. The gap is too large. The staff member beside him lazily said, "This year's new job changers are still in the novice dungeon. A small portion of last year's job changers have already reached level 20 and started challenging the second. Most of them have gone to work. Isn't it normal for there to be fewer people at? Tao Hong nodded. I see. After entering the hall, Tao Hong asked, are we the only two going in? Ye Chen shook his head and said, how can two people compete for the ranking? Find two more teammates. The three of you can be the support. You still want to compete for the ranking? Tao Hong's eyes widened, her expression akin to seeing a ghost. Every year after the high school students graduate, Shenzhou opens a ranking list for new job changers lasting for a month. The top 3 on the final list will receive substantial rewards and qualify for a fighting competition hosted by the military of Shenzhou. Actually, Ye Chen didn't care much about the qualification, but he was quite interested in the rewards because he was poor. Why not take something free? As for why they had to form a team, it was because having more people would provide experience bonuses. This extra experience was different from the fixed experience. It was not evenly distributed, but allocated based on each person's score, with those scoring higher receiving more experience. Thus the term support was born, where they paid some rewards to the main character, allowing them to lead them through the challenging abyss for leveling up. Lazy brother, have you contracted a new summoned beast? Your meatball. Oh no, that rolling beast has an attack power of 700, but isn't it a bit overconfident to clear the nightmare level abyss? Tao Hong said with some concern. After saying that, Tao Hong secretly pinched her own mouth, realizing her words sounded as if she doubted Ye Chen, so she added, are we doing this for free or for a fee? Of course it's for a fee. I'm not a university student working as free labor, which is a thankless task, Ye Chen replied. Tao Hong nodded, and after the two formed a team, they posted a recruitment message and, of course it's for a fee. I'm not a university student working as free labor, which is a thankless task, Ye Chen replied. Tao Hong nodded, and after the two formed a team, they posted a recruitment message. And as soon as the recruitment message was posted, almost everyone turned their attention to Ye Chen, eager to see who this boss was. However, upon seeing Ye Chen's level and profession, level 10, and he's a summoner. Did he drink fake wine? Damn, I was just tempted a moment ago. Good thing I didn't apply. A summoner leading. Is he trying to offer warmth to the monsters in the abyss? He still wants to clear the nightmare level with 3 supports. This world is too crazy. Wait. He looks a bit familiar. Isn't he the famous SS level summoner Ye Chen? He's come to Yinshan City so quickly. So it's him. An SS level jaw changer. I feel like I can give it a try. Don't be silly, brother. Level 10 is still a summoner. Even if he gets 2 more SS, he can't possibly lead 3 supports to clear the nightmare level. That's true. Listening to the chatter around, Tao Hong angrily said, narrow-minded. They can't even embrace the main character. No wonder they haven't qualified to enter the second stage abyss for so long. Why care about them? What we need to do is clear the dungeon and slap their faces, Ye Chen said with a smile. Ding, just then someone initiated a private chat with Ye Chen. Li Zicheng Archer. Hello, are you really Ye Chen? Ye Chen Summoner 1. Li Zicheng Archer. Can the fee be a little lower? Is 100,000 okay? I only have 100,000 on me right now. Ye Chen paused upon seeing the price and turned to ask Tao Hong. Do you know what the market price is for bringing supports in the nightmare level abyss? I just checked. No boss has tried to clear the nightmare level with 3 supports before. However, the market price for difficulty is 200 per person. That's a lot. It's really a profitable business. Ye Chen sighed, and then sent a private message to Li Zicheng. Ye Chen Summoner 100 is fine. Go ahead and apply. The main goal now is still leveling up, not making money. Otherwise we would have to spend a lot of time on recruiting teammates, so a reasonable price will do. Li Zicheng Archer. Boss, I have a friend who also wants to join. Can I invite her into the team? Of course she will pay too. Cute. JPG. Ye Chen Summoner. Sure. As soon as the words were spoken, a rogue named Tao Ying entered the team. Zicheng, can this be reliable? A level 10 summoner, even if he is SS level. But, Tao Ying said with some concern. Li Zicheng helplessly said, the money we both combined only adds up to 200. Do you have a better plan? We could find a team to clear the normal or hard dungeons. Tao Ying suggested. Li Zicheng shook her head. We don't have enough money for the hard abyss. The normal one doesn't provide much experience at all. If we form our own team, we have 1 archer and 1 rogue, no one will want us. The 3 main classes have their own issues. Summoners are avoided because they consume too many resources with low return. Rogues are avoided due to their fragility. Explosive classes like this become irrelevant when facing a tank with taunting skills. Archers are even worse. They not only have weak health, but also deal minimal damage. Unlike summoners who require extensive resources, archers need top-tier equipment to enhance their damage, yet even with high damage, it doesn't change the fact that they are fragile, making them vulnerable to even a slight touch from a warrior. Ye Chen's team seems to have gathered all 3 major archetypes of job changers. Xiaoying, if you think about it, that's an SS-level job changer. A genius among geniuses. Do you think a genius would do something without confidence? The more of a genius, the more they value their lives. Li Zicheng said. I'm just afraid he's just a reckless fool. Taoing muttered, but in the end she still agreed. After paying the fee, Ye Chen Summoner, you all know the rules, right? Taoing rogue. Yes, don't pick up items, don't wander around, don't steal experience, and protect yourselves. Ye Chen Summoner, then I will proceed in. Entering the teleportation array. Abyss, a bizarre wedding banquet. Difficulty nightmare level. Nightmare difficulty 100, restoration of the appearance of the Abyss instance, extremely high death rate. Please enter with caution. Confirm, cancel. Confirm. For beams of light descended, instantly vanishing the figures of Ye Chen, Tao Hong, Li Ziqing, and Tao Ying from their original positions. Summoner, assassin, archer, and an unheard-of profession. This lineup is truly abstract, beyond measure abstract to the core. If someone were to die in there, it would be quite the spectacle to behold. An SS-level job changer perishing in a Stage 1 Abyss could probably make it into the history books. Do you think Ye Chen can really clear the nightmare-level Abyss? Don't joke around, even 4 SS-level job changers would need to work together to clear a nightmare-level Abyss, and it's not guaranteed at all. If he clears it, I'll stand on my head under a 3-speed fan. You can record it. I'll do it under a 5-speed fan. I'll do it under a 10-speed fan. Come on, Ye Chen is also an SS-level job changer from Yinshan City. He represents our city's honor. Can't you wish him well? What does that have to do with me? Can he give me money or boost my level? I'm still a warrior, and if I had that SS-level talent, I'd be much stronger than him. After Ye Chen entered the Abyss, the outside job changers began to speak recklessly. Had Ye Chen been present, they surely wouldn't have dared to be so disrespectful. Jealousy transforms one's appearance. However, Ye Chen and the others had already entered the Abyss, their starting point being a desolate wilderness. At this moment, Ye Chen finally saw the real-life figures of Li Ziqing and Tao Ying. Li Ziqing had her hair in double ponytails, her pure face revealing a hint of mischief, embodying the essence of a youthful girl. Tao Ying had short hair and a capable, tidy appearance that exuded a refreshing vibe. So handsome, was Li Ziqing's first reaction upon seeing Ye Chen. In this world, can handsomeness be a meal? Strength is the undeniable truth. Tao Ying remarked. Hiss, isn't this a wedding banquet? Why does it feel so eerie? Tao Hong hugged her arms, unable to suppress a shiver. You didn't even mention the word bizarre before this, Li Ziqing retorted. It appeared that Li Ziqing was a girl who easily made friends. According to the strategies from predecessors, this abyss is themed around a ghost marriage where deceased males and females are married off by their families. To clear this abyss, we must undergo 3 steps. The first step is betrothal, where the male side presents gifts to the female side, and at night, they will burn the betrothal gifts at the female's doorstep. The strategy from our predecessors indicates we don't need to intervene at this stage. The second step is wedding, where the male family holds a grand feast inviting friends and family. The third step is joint burial, where the parents of both the bride and groom along with the guests will choose a good feng shui site to bury the couple together. If we follow the predecessor strategy to clear this abyss, it will take at least 5 days. Because during the third step, joint burial, both sides will choose a suitable day for burial, which falls on the 3rd day after the feast. Only after the joint burial step is completed will the boss battle with the ghost bride be triggered. So we must wait 2 days for nothing. If we just blindly follow the predecessor's thoughts, the timeline will stretch too long, Ye Chen explained in detail. So you mean to break the record for the bizarre wedding banquet clearance time? Li Ziqing asked. If we break the historical clearance record, there will be a decent reward. Exactly. Ye Chen nodded, but I have no clues on how to shorten the time. Let's take it step by step. We need to head to the village first. I've always been curious about how a summoner strategizes to clear the abyss, Li Ziqing said, nodding repeatedly with anticipation. It's simple, just cheer them on. Ye Chen replied, summoning the Yaga beast. Wow, is this your summoned beast? It looks so cute. Li Ziqing gazed at the Yaga beast with her round eyes, examining it from left to right, then looked at its attribute panel. His attack power 2,200. Li Ziqing squatted down, somewhat at a loss for what to do. What a lot. 2,200. Tao Ying, who had been silent, couldn't help but exclaim. At this moment, the two of them understood what Ye Chen meant by cheering them on. Tao Hong also looked excited. It was his first time seeing an evolved rolling beast, but he couldn't show it. As Ye Chen's #1 burden, he couldn't appear inexperienced. The Yaga beast closed its eyes, a proud smile on its face, seemingly enjoying the surprise it brought to others. The bride and groom are beautiful as a painting. About to marry, laughing joyfully, the groom is so handsome it's ridiculous. The bride is as beautiful as a flower. At that moment, a children's song suddenly echoed from the nearby forest, sounding ethereal. It made one want to go and take a look. Oh no, it's haunted. Li Ziqing instinctively shrank behind Ye Chen. The singing grew closer, and soon a patch of grass not far away began to twitch, revealing a half-child. As for why it was a half, because there were 3 children, and they were all half-bodied. What the hell? Tao Hong jumped up in fright. If this were a street dance competition, he would undoubtedly be the champion. Big shot. What do we do now? Li Ziqing said with a quivering voice. Ye Chen looked at the three flustered individuals, somewhat speechless, pointing at the three ghost children. He said, I say, can't you see the obvious health bars above their heads? Yaga beast. Small flame. The Yaga beast instantly understood. Bang. Ah. With a scream, that half-child was engulfed by flames. Ye Chen adhered to one principle: no matter who comes, as long as you have a health bar above your head, don't expect to leave alive today. As long as there's a health bar, then we'll see. Successfully killed the summoned ghost, gained 722 experience. After announcing it 3 times, Tao Hong's level instantly jumped 2 levels from level 4 to level 6. Awesome. Tao Hong performed a signature move of Shintung. There was only one path, so Ye Chen and the others just needed to keep moving forward. A few face-hugging monsters would occasionally pop up, but before they could even get close, the Yaga beast had already sent them off to the Western Paradise with a swipe. For ghostly monsters like these, they generally have immunity to a portion of physical attacks, especially in an abyss of nightmare level, where the damage immunity can be over 50. However, it was no problem. The Yaga beast's attack power was simply too high, so even if half of the damage was immune, the total damage still overflowed. After a while, Ye Chen finally emerged from the jungle and arrived at a spacious square. At this moment, Yagushu was still clearing out some minor nuisances. Want an apple, eh? Ye Chen took out an apple and took a bite. Huh, when did you bring an apple? They had been together for the past few days, and Tao Hong didn't recall Ye Chen buying any apples. But she didn't overthink it and took a bite as well. A few minutes later, hey, race a banana. Ye Chen handed it over. Tao Hong took the banana with a puzzled expression. Hey, race a chicken leg. Ye Chen continued. Tao Hong held the banana in her mouth and was about to take the chicken leg when she suddenly realized that their group had unknowingly walked into a cemetery. The apples and bananas from earlier were offerings placed in front of tombstones. Damn. Bleck. Tao Hong quickly spat out what was in her mouth. She looked up and saw Ye Chen taking an orange from the offerings and peeling it. Is this a cemetery? Isn't it dangerous? Tao Hong asked, looking around. No, I've read the guide. It says to just keep walking forward and nothing will trigger. Li Ziqing said. Ye Chen, while eating the orange, said, guides are only for reference. Besides, I feel like the predecessor's guide is missing some crucial part. With such a vast abyss, it can't be that we only fight the final boss, right? As soon as the words were spoken, the ground beneath their feet began to tremble violently. In the center of the square, an old man with a hunched figure emitting black smoke emerged from the ground. Who has touched my offerings? Ding. Main quest triggered. Defeat the current boss. Village Chief of Gao Family Village. Level 25. HP 10,000. Attack 2,300. Skill 1. Fearful Howl emits a terrifying scream, causing enemies to enter a state of fear. Skill 2. Death Curse applies a death curse on the enemy, causing continuous damage over time and nullifying healing effects. Skill 3. Summon Undead summons a large number of undead creatures to assist in battle. Description: 3rd Village Chief of Gao Family Village. Cause of death unknown, but harbors deep resentment. Off. Are you kidding me? You deliberately touched the offerings. As expected of Brother Lazy. Tao Hong praised. Ye Chen hadn't thought that far. He simply took the offerings because he wanted to eat, but he didn't expect such good luck. He triggered a boss that wasn't recorded in the guide. But it was only natural. After all, what sane person would enter a nightmare-level abyss and still have the leisure to sneakily eat someone else's offerings? Brother Ye Chen, this boss stats are even higher than your summoned beasts. The village chief of Gao Family Village swept his gaze over Ye Chen and the others and said, outsiders, what are you doing in Gao Family Village? What else? We're here for the feast, of course, Ye Chen said with a smile, but his grip on the sacred plan in his hand was tight. The stats of the village chief before him had already surpassed those of Yagushu. Now there were only 2 ways to defeat him. One was to evolve into Bealongshu, and the other was for Ye Chen to activate the rage skill. The rage skill could multiply the summoned beast stats in a short period, and Ye Chen's rage skill had no side effects, only a cooldown. This was the bonus from his SS rank talent. However, Ye Chen still planned to have Yagushu evolve into Bealongshu. Gao Family Village never allows outsiders to attend wedding banquets. Leave this place immediately. I can overlook the matter of stealing the offerings otherwise. Before the village chief could finish, Ye Chen picked up another banana and started eating. You're asking for death. The village chief flew into a rage, his aura surging violently, and countless shadowy figures materialized around them. Li Ziqing and the others were so frightened that their legs began to tremble. She couldn't imagine how Ye Chen would deal with this boss, since its stats had already surpassed Yagushu's. Ye Chen, on the other hand, had calmed down and said with a teasing expression, see, you're getting worked up again. Anger harms the body. The village chief snorted coldly and immediately turned into a shadow, charging straight at Ye Chen. Yagushu's body moved almost simultaneously, blocking the village chief's attack. But at that moment, the wandering shadows around seemed to gain consciousness and rushed toward Ye Chen at incredible speed. Brother lazy. Tao Hong was startled and immediately wanted to rush over to help Ye Chen. However, Ye Chen waved his hand, signaling Tao Hong to stay where she was. Ice shield. A large amount of cold air began to emanate around Ye Chen, enveloping his entire body. Those shadows all crashed into the ice shield. When the shield was finally broken, the cold air around Ye Chen erupted in a violent explosion. Successfully killed Wraith, gained 522 EXP. Successfully killed Wraith, gained 522 EXP. Level up to 11. Under the explosion of the ice shield, only a few shadows remained. I say, Lord Village Chief, your minions are a bit few. Seems like your status isn't all that great. Ye Chen taunted. If I summoned them all, I could crush your bones to dust. The village chief who was confronting Yagushu waved his hand upon seeing this, and instantly a large number of wraiths appeared around the square, their numbers several times greater than before. Ye Chen was overjoyed at the sight. He had only intended to probe with a provocation, but he didn't expect the boss to actually fall for it. All this was experience. It seemed that ghosts weren't very smart. No ghost should have no brains at all. It's over. I've never been in love, I've never experienced kissing. Li Ziqing closed her eyes in despair at the scene. Ye Chen, in stark contrast to Li Ziqing, had excitement written all over his face. Lord Village Chief, sending so much experience, you're quite kind, aren't you? Yagushu. Seeing that the time was right, Ye Chen focused his mind, and the sacred plan in his hand instantly emitted a dazzling light. Yagushu evolve. Bealongshu. Staring at the massive body of Bealongshu, Tao Hong couldn't help but let out a shriek like a groundhog. There's still a pro. Bealongshu's attack power of 6,000 had already brought an early end to this battle. Go, Bealongshu. Turn the tide. Ye Chen waved his hand, exuding the aura of a general. Super Flame. A massive fireball burst from Bealongshu's mouth and exploded violently in the center of the square. The scene instantly burst into flames. With an attack power of 6,000 and the 200 damage boost from Flame Fong, the boss was burned to ashes without even uttering a last word. Successfully killed boss. Village Chief of Gao Family Village gained 4,200 EXP. Level up to 12. Obtained Elite Boss Chest X1. Obtained Equipment Shadow Boots. Obtained Quest Item Nether Compass. Obtained Material Soul Essence. Successfully killed Wraith, gained 522 EXP. Successfully killed Wraith Leader, gained 710 EXP. Successfully killed. Level up to 13. Successfully killed. Level up to 14. No wonder it's a nightmare level abyss. Just the boss of the first stage jumped 3 levels directly. Ye Chen looked at the flood of kill notifications, his surprise evident. At this moment the square was utterly silent. The Tyrannosaurus beast had instantly slain all enemies with a single super flame attack, not a single one spared. This is what a summoner is like. Li Ziqing and Taoing stood frozen in place. They had already thought this was a dead end, but they never expected the reversal to come so quickly. They now had only 2 conclusions. First, the nightmare level abyss was indeed very difficult. The boss of the first stage could actually reach level 25. It must be noted that the first stage of the abyss is only open to those ranked 120. The second conclusion is that Ye Chen is too strong, so strong, it's almost outrageous. They say summoners rely on tactics of overwhelming numbers, but Ye Chen only used one summoning beast with overwhelming power. The key point is that Ye Chen's summoning beast could even freely evolve and devolve. This is simply unheard of. Generally, a summoner's beast is cultivated and upgraded with a massive amount of resources. There has never been any mention of evolution and devolution. Ye Chen sorted through the rewards he obtained, glancing over them briefly. Shadow Boots rare. Required level 10. Speed 50. Skill activate stealth mode. Instantly disengage from combat. Cannot be targeted for a short time. Affects the whole team. Set effect 13. Good stuff. Escape tool. Ye Chen clicked to use it directly. Underworld Compass, an essential item for traveling to the Ghost Market. Ghost Market. Apart from the introduction, there were no other hints. Helpless Ye Chen could only store it away. Let's go. First we need to gather some information in the village. Tao Hong, what are you doing? Are you frozen? Ye Chen asked Tao Hong, who was shivering. Tao Hong patted her thigh and stammered. I'm just too excited, it feels like I'm the one fighting. Ye Chen patted her shoulders, saying nothing more. After passing through the square, they entered a forest. After walking for a while, and dealing with a few minor ghosts, they finally exited the woods. No outsiders are allowed in this village. Just then 4 young men suddenly appeared, blocking Ye Chen and the others' path. Bro, we were invited to the... No outsiders are allowed in this village. Just then 4 young men suddenly appeared, blocking Ye Chen and the others' path. Bro, we were invited to the wedding. Ye Chen said, impossible. Our village's weddings never allow outsiders to attend. One of the young men responded. No, Ying, isn't he an outsider? What if he was invited by someone? No way. Didn't he die? A few people began murmuring. Hey, whose wedding are you attending? Just say the name. Of course it's Lao Gao. Nonsense. If the Gao family village doesn't have the surname Gao, can it have the surname Li? I'm asking you for your name. Ye Chen's mind stirred, and the Yaogu beast struck, killing the 4 young men on the spot. Successfully killed a common ghost, gained 300 experience. Damn it, did they have to ask so many questions? Ye Chen said somewhat helplessly. The information extracted was almost useless. He is an outsider, he should be dead. All nonsense. Ye Chen felt there were hardly any living people in this village. What should we do now? They had already eliminated too many ghosts along the way, and combined with the shocking scene of defeating the village chief of Gao family, Li Jiqing, and Tao Ying had transformed from being anxious at the beginning to being calm. What does it matter if there are ghosts? After all, they have health bars. Ye Chen pondered for a moment. We should find a way to sneak into the village without being noticed. The villagers here seem very exclusive, and if we are discovered it might cause unnecessary trouble. Ye Chen said. Lazy brother, I've leveled up to level 10. Tao Hong spoke up. Congratulations. Ye Chen replied, dismissively, still pondering how to sneak into the village without drawing attention. Lazy brother, I unlocked a new skill. Impressive. It's a disguise skill. You're really great. My. Ye Chen finally reacted. A disguise skill. What does that mean? Tao Hong showcased her skill. Soul reflection copies the target's gestures, subtle movements, and appearance. Features can be copied onto oneself or allies, making it hard to distinguish between true and false. Costs 500 coins every half-hour. Side effect: the user cannot engage in combat during the skill use period. I've heard of skills that consume rage, consume magic, and even a berserker class that consumes its own health, but this is the first time I've seen a skill that costs money. Ye Chen finally witnessed how vast and bizarre the world could be. 500 every half hour with 4 people on Ye Chen's side, that's 2,000 every half hour. What a name for a disguised master! It might as well be called a money-devouring beast. However, it seems this skill cannot be used for free. Just then the usually silent Tao Ying suddenly spoke up. Let's use our own. She didn't want to owe anyone a favor. Although it was expensive, she still had over 20,000 left in her pocket. Ye Chen didn't refuse, as his money didn't come easily. Thus, everyone deposited 20,000 with Tao Hong, adjusting for any differences. After collecting the money, Tao Hong walked over to the 4 young men who had died and began to use her skill. For minutes later, the appearances of Ye Chen and his companions were almost indistinguishable from those of the 4 corpses on the ground. Indeed, there was no difference. Now all 4 of them had expressions of horror on their faces. This was the expression they wore when the Yaogu beast killed them. You can't even change your expression. I said, Tao Hong, you're such a scam. Ye Chen complained, looking at his appearance. Tao Hong replied aggrievedly, what can I do? This skill has to watch the target's expression to copy it. Now that they're all dead, I can only copy this one. But there's some good news. Since the skill hasn't fully manifested, the price has also decreased. Now it's 200 coins for half an hour. Ye Chen scrutinized their appearances carefully. Aside from their expressions being slightly exaggerated, everything else had no flaws. It'll have to do. Let's go. Ye Chen said somewhat helplessly. In truth, given his temper, he wanted to storm in and create chaos, but if that happened, the abyss would surely be thrown into disarray, and the final boss might not even show up. Currently, aside from knowing that the man Ye Chen was impersonating was named Yang, nothing was known about the identities of the other 3 deceased men. Upon entering the village, Ye Chen and his companions walked along a narrow path flanked by dilapidated earthen houses. Now Ye Chen and the others had the task of finding the male's family, and then following the male's proposal party to the female's home. Continuing forward, the earthen houses gradually diminished, replaced by more brick houses, each with a considerable area. This is way too difficult to find. There isn't a soul in sight, and every household has its doors tightly shut. If we want to search, we'll have to knock on each door and check. Tao Hong complained. Given our current appearances, there shouldn't be any major mistakes, but you all need to stick close to me, and if danger arises, quickly find a safe place to hide. Ye Chen reminded, then took out the task item Underworld Compass and handed it to Tao Hong. You hold on to this. What is this? Why are you giving it to me? Tao Hong asked with some confusion. It's a key task item. If you don't want it, that's fine. Continuing forward, the earthen houses gradually diminished, replaced by more brick houses, each with a considerable. Seeing Ye Chen's hand continue to retract, Tao Hong spread her hands, her voice trembling, and pleaded, give it to me, give it to me. Ye Chen, speechless, tossed the task item to Tao Hong. Beside them, Li Jiqing and Tao Ying couldn't help but shiver. Those who act spoiled have the best lives. Yet they were more envious, as Tao Hong obtaining the task item indicated that there would be a need. This meant that Tao Hong's final score would be higher than if she had done nothing, and her rewards and experience would also be better. Xiaoqing, haven't you never been in a relationship? I think Ye Chen would be a great match for you, Tao Ying teased. How could someone like him possibly be interested in me? Li Jiqing replied. Ye Chen helplessly said, do you dare to whisper a little louder? Sorry, Li Jiqing stuck out her tongue. Come on, let's start by checking this house. Ye Chen casually walked to a courtyard door, knocked, found no response, and tried pushing the door. Creak. The door gently swung open. Is anyone home? Am I Yang? Ye Chen called out as he stepped inside. There was no response. Looks like this household is either not coming out or not home, Tao Hong said as she turned to leave. Just then a grotesquely twisted face appeared before Tao Hong, hanging upside down, and within 2 centimeters. Hey hello, I was just hiding ha. Tao Hong was terrified, her legs trembling, and her face, pale, wanting to run, but unable to muster any strength. Li Jiqing and Tao Ying were hiding behind Ye Chen, covering their mouths, afraid to make a sound. You don't look too well. The face continued to stare intensely at Tao Hong. But in the next moment the face was ripped to shreds by the Yaga beast. Successfully defeated, the mischievous spirit, gained 120 experience. The experience points were pitifully low. It seemed that this type of ghost was not much of a threat beyond scaring people. Are you okay? Ye Chen patted the panting Tao Hong, showing concern. Tao Hong plopped down on the ground, trembling, as she said, Wait a moment. I need to catch my breath. After a long time, Tao Hong finally managed to stand up with difficulty. For a moment there it felt like I saw my great-grandmother. Well, your great-grandmother is quite unique in appearance. Ye Chen clicked his tongue. Just then a man in his 40s suddenly walked in at the entrance. Ye Chen almost instantly withdrew the Yaga beast back into the summoner's space at the sight of him. Young, why are you still loitering around here? Come with me. Something serious has happened. The man's tone was clearly anxious. Ye Chen and the others quickly followed. What's happened? Ye Chen asked on the way. Don't mention it, the village chief has been killed outside. Our village might have been targeted by someone, the man explained. The village chief has been killed. Ye Chen couldn't help but exclaim, What should we do now? The wedding in 5 days has been moved up, all previous steps have been skipped, and we must bury him tonight. The man quickened his pace after speaking. Ye Chen and the others also quickened their steps, closely following the man. After passing through several alleys, the man led Ye Chen and the others into a courtyard where various decorations were hung with white cloth at the entrance. Inside the courtyard the walls were adorned with white flowers forming characters, not the word mourning, but double happiness. Elder son, when are we going to start? The man approached an old man with white hair and respectfully inquired. In half an hour. Yang is back. What's wrong with you all? You look like you've seen a ghost. Elder son asked, looking at the terrified expressions of Ye Chen and the others. Ye Chen had already prepared his explanation, but before he could speak the man who brought them spoke first. These kids went to the haunted houses at the village head to build their courage. I brought them back from there. Elder son sighed. I've told you countless times to avoid going there. It's meant to scare outsiders, not for you to build your courage. Ye Chen could only lower his head and say, I'm sorry, we won't do it again. Elder son nodded slightly. It's about time you four go inside to prepare the coffin, and then we'll set off. Understood. Ye Chen nodded, then walked with Tao Hong and the others toward the inner room. The physical setup was not much different from ancient wedding ceremonies, the only difference being that all the originally red silks and candles were now white. In the center of the room lay a coffin. Ye Chen walked over first. Tao Hong appeared shy and hesitant, clearly frightened, and still affected by the previous encounter. As Ye Chen approached the coffin, a young woman inside caught his eye. The girl in the coffin looked exceedingly beautiful. However, contrasting her beauty were the tattered clothes she wore and the countless bruises and scars on her body. It looks like you haven't finished yet. Still not done playing. Hurry up. Elder son's voice came from outside. Bang, bang, bang. After Ye Chen secured the coffin, he quickly nailed it shut. Prepare the coffin. Elder son shouted loudly at the door. Everyone was outside the room, only Ye Chen and his 3 companions were inside. It was evident who would carry the coffin. After the coffin was carried out, everyone outside began to cry in unison, but oddly there was no sorrow on their faces, instead there was joy. After leaving the courtyard, Ye Chen and the others carried the coffin following the crowd towards the other end of the village. Half an hour later, Ye Chen and the others left the village and came to a burial ground. The cemetery was astonishingly vast, at least the size of a football field. Strangely, when the field was divided down the middle, the left side held far fewer mounds than the right, yet each grave on the left bore a headstone and was arranged in neat rows. The graves on the right, by contrast, were crooked and tightly packed, as if they had been dug hurriedly and one after another. Ye Chen noticed too that a ring of energy seemed to swirl around the right, half a sensation, much like the formation on the transfer platform when he once changed his profession. Bury them. Elder son shouted. Ye Chen and the others lifted the coffin and headed toward the left side of the cemetery. Ayong, where the hell are you going? That is our ancestors' burial ground. Du Zhuhua even belong there. Have you lost your wits today? Elder son barked, his tone full of fury and contempt. Zhuhua. When Ye Chen heard the word, his hands trembled as he carried the coffin. He had heard that term before. It referred to women who had been sold and trafficked to other places. Go to the right, dig a random spot, and bury it. Elder son ordered again. Ye Chen could only carry the coffin toward the right side of the cemetery. The moment they stepped into the formation, the temperature plunged sharply. The yin energy is so heavy. I feel as if I can hardly breathe. Tao Hong said with difficulty. The 3 of you stay alert, Ye Chen warned. What was happening now did not match the walkthrough at all. The guide said that if the party held on until the last day and followed the procession, they would reach the place where the village chief of Gaojia village had been honored for burial. When they buried the bride, the coffin would suddenly burst open. The bride would become a corpse beast, and defeating her would clear the stage. But the scene before them was entirely different. Even the destination was opposite. The place where the Gaojia village chief had been honored lay at the eastern edge of the hamlet, whereas this cemetery was at the west. As Ye Chen pondered, the coffin they carried suddenly began to tremble violently. They hurried to set the coffin down. The moment it touched the earth, every grave around them seemed to react. All of them began to shake in unison. "Ayong, get out here. There's a formation. The trafficked women can't make any trouble." Elder Son outside shouted at the villagers. Ye Chen cast a cold glance at the villagers and at Elder Son. He had felt something amiss earlier. The guide had said the procession would start from the bride's home. So why had the house been decorated with the double happiness character 1111 rather than the single 11? In some customs, the bride's side pastes a single 11, while the groom's side pastes the double character. Why was the girl in the coffin covered in wounds as if she had been repeatedly abused? As Ye Chen stared at the girl in a daze, Elder Son muttered something about it never ends, hasn't had enough of the fun yet. What did he mean by fun? Was he referring to a young running off to play, or to some other kind of play? Putting Elder Son's words together with the insulting term he had used, Ye Chen began to understand. The Zhuhua Elder Son referred to, the girl in the coffin, had probably been trafficked and brought here. And those countless cramped graves on the right were likely all the Zhuhua Elder Son had spoken of. But why perform a ghost marriage like this? Ye Chen muttered, staring at the trembling coffin and the mounds. Were you all wronged? Bang! The shaking reached a fever pitch. Seconds later, almost every grave was thrown up, dust and coffin lids exploding into the sky. "You're not a Yang. Who are you?" Elder Son pointed into the formation and demanded. Ye Chen paid no heed to the beast of a man. As the dust slowly cleared, Ye Chen found himself stunned by the sight. Dozens of women stared at him, with eyes leaking blood, their faces contorted into savage, hideous masks. Among them were wives, maidens, even children. Wailing Spirit female, ghost level 18, HP 6000, attack 1300. Malignant ghost female, ghost level 21, HP 8000, attack 1600. Vengeful ghost female, ghost boss level 25, HP 11,000, attack 2300. Ghost Sovereign female, Ghost Monarch boss level 35, HP 80,000, attack 8,700. Skill 1 Shadowed Phantoms creates 4 physical clones, each at 50% of the original's attributes. Skill 2 Touch of Death. The Ghost Sovereign's touch carries a curse that inflicts massive continuous damage and immobilizes the victim. Description: Evil ghosts are feared, but how do they measure up to humans? Cold sweat broke out on Tao Hong, Tao Ying, and Li Ziqing. It ran down their faces as their hands and legs trembled uncontrollably. There were already more than a dozen of the lowest level wailing spirits before them. The difficulty of this nightmare level abyss far exceeded anything they had ever comprehended. The Ghost Emperor boss before them boasted nearly 3,000 more attack power than the Baolong beast they knew. As the female ghosts fixed their gaze on Ye Chen, he studied them in turn. These foes differed from the bosses he had encountered before. All the enemies Ye Chen had faced previously displayed red health bars, but these ghosts' bars glowed orange-yellow. The lead Ghost Emperor let out a hoarse roar that sounded utterly terrifying. Ye Chen remained unmoved, speaking softly as he watched her. "What kind of torment did you endure to become like this?" The lead ghost paused, and in the blood-filled depths of her eyes a flicker of confusion and hesitation appeared. Suddenly remembering something, Ye Chen said, "Tao Hong, take out the quest item." Tao Hong did not hesitate. She fumbled quickly in her pack and produced the quest item, the Underworld Compass. The moment the Underworld Compass was brought forth, it flared with a bright light. The radiance burst from the compass, split into 4 beams, and flew toward the foreheads of Ye Chen, Tao Hong, Tao Ying, and Li Ziqing. When the light struck Ye Chen's forehead, a dizzying sensation washed over him, and images began to pour into his mind. A woman of breathtaking beauty had been kidnapped and brought to a mountain village. The man who abducted her was none other than the village chief of Gaojia village, and the woman was the very girl Ye Chen had seen inside the coffin. She had been confined in a pen like a pigsty, where different men came day and night. There was no respite from the torment. Every one of those men's faces was that of a Gaojia villager. Only when a certain man arrived did Yi Ming clench his fist. That man was the one Ye Chen had been impersonating a Yang. Day after day the same routine repeated itself, until one fateful day. This pigflower game has grown stale for everyone. It's time for something new. So shall we follow tradition again? Send it down to amuse our ancestors? Should it go to the village chief, or to our ancestors? Ye Chen clenched his fists so tightly his arms trembled uncontrollably, his fury cresting beyond restraint. The girl's despair in her final moments of torment pierced him with visceral, unbearable clarity. Tao Hong lowered her head in silence, Li Ziqing and Tao Ying wept uncontrollably. Ye Chen restored his true appearance, slowly raised his gaze, and fixed his eyes upon the ghost sovereign at the forefront. Each word deliberate. Do you wish revenge? At those words, the crimson health bars above the female ghost shimmered, shifting gradually from burnt orange to serene azure. Their once harrowing expressions softened, the grotesque fury melting from their features. There's no way. This formation. I cannot break it. So close, yet utterly unbreakable. Tears, not blood, now traced silent paths down the ghost sovereign's cheeks. Then do you wish revenge? Ye Chen asked again. The ghost sovereign's visage twisted, a new voice cracking with raw trembling rage. I want revenge. I want to torment them. I want them to taste the humiliation we endured. I want them to suffer a fate worse than death. Ye Chen summoned Aguiman's sacred digivis gleaming in his hand, his expression impassive. I will shatter the formation for you. Your vengeance is yours to claim. Aguiman. The sacred digivis blazed with radiant light. Before their eyes, Aguiman surged upward, evolving into Tyrannoman. Tyrannoman champion level attack, 6200, activate summon beast rampage. As the skill activated, Tyrannoman's frame swelled violently, his crimson eyes burning deeper, fiercer. Tyrannoman champion level attack, 12400, shatter this formation. Ye Chen spoke softly. Tyrannoman gave a slight nod, then lifted his massive head, the molten flames boiling at his jaws. Mega Flame. A fireball of unimaginable scale erupted from Tyrannoman's maw, a searing orb that dwarfed reason itself. With 12400 attack power and a 200 damage boost from Flame Fong, the formation crumbled like tissue paper. Outside the formation, villagers scattered in panic. Elder Sun vanished without a trace. Meanwhile, the female ghost's health bars had fully turned azure. You are. The ghost sovereign's face now mirrored her mortal beauty. I am Ye Chen. Thank you, Ye Chen. I never imagined I'd meet someone as kind as you. I hope our paths cross again. She smiled sweetly, dimples blooming on her cheeks. Yet with the formation shattered, the villagers of Gaojia village fled in all directions. But where could they truly run? This gift is mine to give. Pray do not disdain it. Her features contorted once more, then she shot forward, chasing the fleeing villagers. From afar rose shrieks, raw soul-rending, unending. As the ghost sovereign vanished, Ye Chen and his companions stood frozen in place, overwhelmed by a system notification flooding the screen. Successfully defeated Spectre female ghost. Gained 2025 experience, level up to 15. Successfully defeated Evil Spirit female ghost. Gained 3220 experience, level up to 16. Successfully defeated Wraith female ghost boss. Gained 3300 experience, level up to 17. Successfully defeated Phantom Lord female ghost boss. Gained 600 experience, level up to 18. 4 levels in one fell swoop. Incredible. Ye Chen had rocketed from level 10 to level 18 in a single nightmare tier abyss. A feat most transmuted cultivators would take a full year to achieve, even with exceptional talent. Congratulations. You have successfully completed the Nightmare Tier Haunted Wedding. Reward acquired Stage 1 Abyss Treasure Chest Nightmare Tier 1 Hidden Quest unlocked. A hidden quest. Could there be another master level foe? Ye Chen paused, startled. Lan Gu. Look, the cemetery over there. Tao Hong suddenly cried out. Ye Chen turned, and there inexplicably stood Elder Sun, now seated at the heart of the left side cemetery. His lips moved in silent incantation. The tombstones trembled faintly. Sun Dashi, 13th generation elder of Gaojia village, beseeches our ancestors to save our village from calamity. With that he bit deep into his own finger. Blood gushed forth, splattering across the stone. At that moment, an ancient figure rose from the earth, shrouded in thick, roiling black smoke. Ancestor of Gaojia village, hidden boss, level 40, HP 1500 attack, 500 skills, none passive, immune to physical attacks. Description: most revered ancestor of Gaojia village. Obsessed with beauty, ruthless in pursuit. What? 150,000 HP. Where did this even come from? Is this still Stage 1 Abyss? A level 40 boss? If you don't want anyone clearing it, just say so. Ye Chen longed to rail against the Abyss's absurd mechanics, but had no one to vent to. Stage 1 Abyss was strictly designated for transmuted cultivators levels 10-20, yet here loomed a level 40 monstrosity. It was like entering a boxing match, prudently signing up for the children's division for safety. And then your opponent's name turned out to be Tyson. Except Tyson merely patted your shoulder, smiling. Don't be nervous. I'm not your opponent. I'm the referee. Your real opponent. Ultraman Taro. Yet not all was bleak. Aside from its staggering HP, this hidden boss possessed no extraordinary traits. Its attack power was even lower than that of the level 35 Ghost Sovereign. Immunity to physical attacks meant Tyrannoman could only strike with Mega Flame. Who dares disturb my eternal repose? The Gaojia ancestor lifted his gaze, scanning the scene, then locked eyes upon Elder Sun. Kneeling Sun pointed urgently toward Ye Chen and his companion's ancestor. They are the ones. They brought legions of female ghosts, slaughtered our villagers, and murdered the village chief. The Gaojia ancestor turned his stare toward Ye Chen's group. But the instant his head turned, a colossal fireball slammed directly into his face. Boom. 18600. Silence. Profound stunned silence. No one expected Ye Chen to attack. Without warning, without preamble. The Gaojia ancestor stood motionless, gazing at Ye Chen and Tyrannoman. Whether dazed or incensed, none could tell. His hair scorched nearly to ash clung in brittle wisps. Sensing the awkward hush, Ye Chen scratched his head. Bullseye. You dare defy me? The Gaojia ancestor roared, fury igniting his form, and blurred into a phantom streak, hurtling straight toward Ye Chen. Just as the ancestor's spectral hand neared Ye Chen's throat, Ye Chen's body flickered, turning semi-transparent. The blow passed harmlessly through him. Shadow Boots' brief invulnerability, unselectable. Not only Ye Chen but Tao Hong, Tao Ing, Li Ziqing, even Aguman, had all slipped into shadow phase. The ancestor of Gaojia village attempted several more attacks, yet was unable to inflict any harm on Ye Chen. Super Fireball. The Tyrannosaurus beast unleashed another fireball. Bang! 18600. The ancestor of Gaojia village's face turned ashen. This was clearly a sign of his anger. Seeing this, Ye Chen began to add fuel to the fire. Old man, you've lost all your hair. Ye Chen laughed heartily. At this moment, Tao Hong stepped forward, shaking her hair and mockingly taunting, Old man. Hello. My hair is real. If it were a wig, I would have pulled it off long ago. Ye Chen gave a thumbs up, saying that when it comes to being cheeky, no one could beat Tao Hong. The ancestor of Gaojia village was trembling with rage, floating in place. The key issue was that he couldn't do anything. Ye Chen was in a shadow state, making it impossible for him to hit. Moreover, the Tyrannosaurus beast continued to assault with Super Fireball, causing the ancestor's health to drop below 5000. Although he kept trying to dodge, Ye Chen and Tao Hong's incessant taunts distracted him, causing him to miss all his evasions. Just as the ancestor's health hit 3000, Ye Chen and the other's shadow state ended. Seeing this, Tao Hong and the others quickly hid behind Ye Chen. A few insignificant flies, let's see what you can do now. The ancestor of Gaojia village charged at Ye Chen again. I was just joking. Look, you're all flustered now, Ye Chen said with a smile, completely unfazed because the Ghost Emperor had already rushed in. Bang! The timely arriving Ghost Emperor intercepted the ancestor's attack. The Tyrannosaurus beast took the opportunity to launch a sneak attack. How did it go? Did you kill them all? Ye Chen inquired. The Ghost Emperor scoffed and replied, killing them would be too merciful. I destroyed their bodies and imprisoned their souls. I plan to torment them slowly. After the Ghost Emperor joined the battle, the ancestor of Gaojia village couldn't last even 2 minutes before being slain by the Tyrannosaurus beast. The Ghost Emperor then rushed in front of Elder Sun, smashing his skull with a palm and subsequently extracting his soul. Success in killing the ancestor of Gaojia village hidden boss and earning 7,000 experience points. Received hidden boss treasure. Chest 1. The abyss has been cleared. You will be forcibly exited in 10 seconds. 10 and 9. I must leave now. Ye Chen said his farewells. Ye Chen, I truly thank you. The Ghost Emperor bowed deeply before Ye Chen. The abyss has been cleared. The entire Gaojia village has been annihilated. And as for why the elder of Gaojia village was named Sun Dashi, probably no one will ever know. Yinshan City Mayor's office. At this moment, Mayor Zhang Ke was sitting in his chair with a furrowed brow. I specifically instructed him not to choose the nightmare level abyss, yet he wouldn't listen. With 3 bystanders, old Lu. Do you think he can clear it? Zhang Ke said. Don't worry, as an SS level transmuter, he's not a fool. He wouldn't attempt something without confidence. Old Lu reassured him. Old Lu, whose full name is Lu Ziyu, is the deputy mayor of Yinshan City, and has a good relationship with Zhang Ke. I hope so. Let's not have any mistakes, so otherwise Yinshan City might be held accountable. If an SS-level transmuter dies in a Stage 1 abyss, then both of us might not escape unscathed. Honestly, I regret bringing Ye Chen to our Yinshan City. Just as he finished speaking, the two were suddenly inundated with system notifications. Notification. Congratulations to the transmuter team, Ye Chen, for successfully breaking the record time for the Eerie Wedding Banquet Nightmare level completion time, 7 hours, 32 minutes, and 23 seconds. Team members, Ye Chen, Tao Hong, Li Ziqing, Tao Ing received a historical completion gift package 1. What noise is that? Did I hear wrong? Zhang Ke rubbed his ears, a bit confused. Ye Chen cleared it. And broke my record. 7.5 hours. How did he get through? Lu Ziyu said in shock. The online strategy for the Nightmare level Abyss Eerie Wedding Banquet was released by Lu Ziyu, and until now only their team had cleared it once, taking a full 5 days. Yet Ye Chen only took a little over 7 hours. Zhang Ke was about to say something when the system notifications began to flood the screen again. Notification. Congratulations to the Transmuter team Ye Chen for completing all main and hidden tasks in the Nightmare level Abyss Eerie Wedding Banquet. Congratulations to the Transmuter team Ye Chen for a perfect clear of the Nightmare level Abyss Eerie Wedding Banquet. All difficulty levels of this abyss are reduced by 25, and Transmuters from Yinshan City entering this abyss will receive a 20 experience bonus. Perfect clear. It's actually a perfect clear. Zhang Ke jumped up excitedly. He had almost forgotten that perfect clears existed, as until now only the war god Ling Alfing had achieved it once. Quick, old Lu, let's go to the Abyss Hall. I want to bring the hero of Yinshan City home. Zhang Ke said excitedly. At that moment in the Abyss Hall. Here comes the fan. I'm really sorry, I couldn't find the 5-speed and 10-speed fans. You all will have to make do with a 3-speed fan. What kind of fan is that? Ye Chen is my father. What's wrong if I had a little argument with him? Exactly, I can't have a fan, or I need to keep that for giving my dad grandsons. That's really impressive, clearing the Nightmare level abyss with 3 bystanders and achieving a perfect clear. I wonder if Ye Chen needs a girlfriend. Do I want to have his child? Damn, you get lost. Ding, suddenly a sound echoed from deep within the Abyss Hall. Ye Chen is coming out. Someone suddenly shouted. What the hell? The first to come out was Tao Hong, who was startled by the crowd before her. Originally, there weren't many people in the Abyss Hall, but after the citywide notification, many transmuters hurried over, some hoping to cling to a powerful figure, others wanting to find a rich benefactor. Hello, Ye Chen, I am the general manager of Kuan Adult Products Company, and I would like you to endorse our Durex. Ye Chen, take me to clear the abyss. I'll pay whatever it takes. Ye Chen, look at me. You are my father. 6. Get in line behind me. I am Ye Chen's firstborn. Ye Chen, Imichi, get lost, didn't you hear me tell you to leave earlier? Ye Chen looked at this scene with some exasperation. It was his first time experiencing the feeling of being a star. Ye Chen wanted to leave, but he was surrounded tightly. According to military regulations, those who cause a disturbance in the Abyss Hall are prohibited from entering the abyss for 2 years. At this moment, the staff shouted through a loudspeaker. After repeating several times, Ye Chen finally squeezed out of the crowd, nodded to the staff in thanks, and then left. After returning home, Tao Hong took out a bottle of ice-cold beer and gulped down 2 mouthfuls. Lazy brother, it feels so good to be famous. Nothing beats ice-cold beer in the summer. Can't you drink more gracefully? You're spilling it all over me. Ye Chen grumbled in annoyance, then took off his shirt to change into a new one. But just then Li Ziqing and Tao Ying, who had gone out shopping, walked in, accompanied by Zhang Ke and Lu Ziyu. Zhang Ke walked in smiling. You got back pretty fast. We went to the Abyss Hall looking for you. Brother Zhang, what's the matter? Ye Chen gave up looking for clothes and turned to sit on the sofa. What could I have? I'm just here to pay respects to the pride of our Yinshan City. Zhang Ke introduced. This is Lu Ziyu, the deputy mayor of Yinshan City, and my close friend. Hello, just call me Brother Lu. These past few days Zhang Ke has been talking about you non-stop, saying you have an extraordinary bearing. Now that I see you, it's true. Lu Ziyu said with a smile. Ye Chen greeted him with a smile as well. He had heard of Lu Ziyu as the author of the Nightmare Level Abyss Guide. Zhang Ke pointed at Lu Ziqing, whose face was slightly flushed, and said, Ye Chen, don't you want to change your clothes first? There are ladies here. Ye Chen waved his hand and said, a real man never keeps a mistress. This is fine and it's cool. Haha, never keeps a mistress. Well said. Lu Ziyu gave a thumbs up. He had been a bit worried when he came, afraid that Ye Chen might be arrogant. After all, someone who dares to go against the mayor must have a fiery temper. But now it seemed quite the opposite. Ye Chen was a very easygoing person. After chatting about everyday matters for a while, Zhang Ke's tone turned serious. Ye Chen, I came this time to discuss something with you. Ye Chen had already guessed what Zhang Ke was going to say. Sects. Ye Chen knew a bit about sects. Although Shenzhou was under military administration, there were dozens of sects of various sizes, each controlling different resources in various places. That's right, it seems you've already looked into it. Normally, there's only one way to join a sect. After reaching level 30, you apply to a sect, and if you pass the assessment, you become a member. Ye Chen nodded and smiled. But the 2 mayors came all the way to see me. Surely it's not just to tell me to level up quickly and join your sect. Zhang Ke shook his head. Of course not. Because you're worth our sect opening up another way to join. Nurturing. Zhang Ke took a big gulp of the ice-cold beer on the table and continued. You should know that each sect controls some local resources, right? Ye Chen nodded. Then do you know what kind of resources they control? Ye Chen shook his head. He really didn't know. He hadn't specifically looked it up online. What he knew was only briefly mentioned in textbooks, and they glossed over it since there were very few class changers who could reach. Zhang Ke looked around, then said in a mysterious tone, abysses. Every sect basically controls several abysses. The larger the sect's power, the more abysses they control. The sect Lu Ziyu and I are currently in is the 3rd largest in Shenzhou, the Moon Shadow sect. The sect master is named Zhuge Nan. Ye Chen nodded. For some reason, whenever he heard the surname Zhuge, it always gave an impression of wisdom and resourcefulness. Zhang Ke continued. After joining the sect Master Zhuge will give you the highest priority for abysses. Then you can decide which abyss to enter and when. Ye Chen asked. Okay, but I have one small request. Zhang Ke nodded. Go ahead, I'll do my best to satisfy you. Ye Chen said solo abyss runs no teammates. Zhang Ke was taken aback. 3-stage abyss. Ye Chen waved his hand. Brother Zhang, you said the same thing to me yesterday about how the first stage abyss was this and that. I know my own strength very well. I won't do anything I'm not confident about. Of course, if you want me to carry some children of influential families, occasionally you'll agree. Since the sect had promised Ye Chen the highest priority, Ye Chen naturally intended to give something in return. Zhang Ke rubbed his nose and smiled wryly. You don't have to push yourself so hard. Are you in a hurry to level up? Ye Chen nodded. I heard Hu Jun has reached level 41. Zhang Ke was stunned, somewhat surprised. You? Before Zhang Ke could finish, Ye Chen tapped the table and said to himself, he never apologized to me from start to finish. Within half a year, I'll make him know what despair means. After saying goodbye, Zhang Ke spoke in the car. The way Ye Chen looked just now really didn't seem like a class changer of just over 10 levels. Even I was intimidated by his aura. Lu Ziyu nodded. His demeanor just now reminded me of someone. Their temperaments are very similar. Zhang Ke asked curiously who. Lu Ziyu said slowly, Ling Aofeng. I was fortunate enough to meet him once, and I felt that same natural innate aura in Ye Chen. The war god Ling Aofeng. Zhang Ke murmured thoughtfully, then suddenly seemed to understand and smiled. Old Lu, I have a feeling. Before long, Ye Chen will be leading us into the abyss. Lu Ziyu said speechlessly, Brother, you were once a dragon among men, the only Shrank class changer in Yinshan City back then. Plus, after all these years of rolling and tumbling. I mean struggling and striving. Where's your former pride? Ye Chen is a full 12 years younger than you. You're letting a junior take you into the abyss. Where's your face? Zhang Ke waved his hand. What is face? Can it level you up? Besides, Ling Aofeng is 2 years younger than us. Do you dare to call him come here, little brother? Lu Ziyu paused, realizing that was true. Zhang Ke smiled. I bet you, within half a year, we'll both be following Ye Chen around like little brothers. What's the bet? If I win, I'll be the first little brother, and you'll be the second. If you win, you'll be the first, and he'll be the second. Deal. Wait, old Zhang, Ye Chen already has Tao Hong by his side. The first little brother spot wouldn't be for us anyway, right? Inside the villa, Li Jiqing and Tao Ying had purchased a plethora of ingredients, preparing to showcase their culinary skills. Since Ye Chen intended to continue taking them along in the abyss, he decided to let them stay here until they reached level 20, as there were plenty of rooms available. As for after reaching level 20, Ye Chen could no longer take them along as the experience points gained would differ. He would certainly need to reach level 20 first. Ladies, do you need any help? To be honest, my culinary skills astonished even our homeroom teacher at the time, Tao Hong boasted as she approached the kitchen door. Tao Hong, have those 2 missing teeth of yours been fixed? Ye Chen asked. Li Jiqing, upon hearing this, curiously inquired. Hey, I've always wanted to ask, how did you lose those 2 teeth, Hong Gu? I'm going to buy some beer, there's none left in the fridge. Tao Hong hastily fled. After dinner, everyone returned to their respective rooms. Ye Chen quickly freshened up and sat on the bed ready for the most thrilling moment. Opening treasure chests. Ye Chen looked at the several chests before him. An elite boss chest, a stage 1 abyss chest, a hidden boss chest, and a historical clearance record chest. Without a moment's hesitation, Ye Chen opened them all at once. Opened elite boss chest, obtained undead helmet, shadow helmet rare, equipping level 15 health, 500 skill life, recovery, 150 set effect 23. A set ill, equip it right away. Ye Chen was quite pleased. Along with the shadow boots, only one more item was needed for the set. Open stage 1 abyss chest, detected summoner class, obtained summoned beast equipment, zombie bone epic equipping level. Skill. Effect. What on earth is this thing? Ye Chen held the unknown creature's bone, looking utterly bewildered. Aside from knowing it was a bone, everything else was a string of question marks. Forget it, I'll just put it away for now. Ye Chen, feeling somewhat helpless, could only place the bone into his backpack. Open hidden boss chest, obtained shadow pants epic equipping level 20 movement speed 20 health 1000 skill none effect 15 physical damage reduction set effect 33 set effect significantly increases the duration of stealth state, greatly enhances physical damage reduction 30. Wow, not bad. Ye Chen was very pleased with the effects of this set and hurriedly removed his veteran gear, the thickened cotton pants, but found that he couldn't wear the shadow pants. They required level 20 and Ye Chen was currently at level 19. Forget it, no rush. Ye Chen didn't dwell on the pants issue and opened the next treasure chest. Opened historical clearance record chest, obtained 110 experience level increased to 20, obtained exclusive gift package, detected that host level has reached 20. Exclusive gift package will be issued every 5 levels thereafter. That's more like it. Leveling up will become increasingly difficult. If it were given every 10 levels, that would be a bit too stingy, but now it's being generous. Ye Chen nodded in agreement as he spoke to himself. Name: Ye Chen, class Dragon-type Summoner, SS level 23, 119, health 1432, 5 magic, 2000 strength, 80 intelligence, 1020 agility, 150 remaining free attribute points 0. 5 points gained per level. Talent: unique, can only contract one exclusive Dragon-type summoned beast. Talent: Dragon Bond. When a Dragon-type summoner has multiple Dragon-type summoned beasts, all attributes of the summoned beasts increase by 25. When the summoner has only one Dragon-type summoned beast, the summoned beast's attributes increase by 100. Skill: Berserk. Equipment: Frost Staff, rare; Ice Robe, rare; Shadow Helmet, rare; Shadow Boots, rare; Shadow Pants, epic. Open the exclusive gift package. Ding! Successfully opened exclusive gift package. Congratulations, host obtained evolution fragments 400. Congratulations, host obtained courage fragments 50. Congratulations, host obtained courage shield. Courage shield not available for use yet. Courage shield, why can't I use it yet? Ye Chen looked at the shield with great interest, which bore the emblem of courage, capable of being combined or separated. As a child, Ye Chen had always thought this resembled the wings of a fighting Tyrannosaurus. However, Ye Chen felt somewhat regretful. Although he had collected 100 courage fragments, he only had 400 evolution fragments, meaning he still needed another 100 evolution fragments for a super evolution. Sai, I just praised you for being generous, and now I'm getting slapped in the face missing a full 100 fragments. Are you going to make me reach level 25 before giving me more? Ye Chen couldn't help but voice his complaints. Ding detected that host has gathered 100 courage fragments automatically combined into courage badge. Damn it. I haven't gathered enough evolution fragments. What use is a courage badge to me? Ye Chen cursed, but he still carefully strung the courage badge on a cord and placed it around his neck. He lay on the bed once again, examining the bone that had left him puzzled earlier. An hour later, Ye Chen resignedly placed the bone back into his backpack. No matter how closely he examined it, it remained a string of question marks. An hour later, Ye Chen resignedly placed the bone back into his backpack. No matter how closely he examined it, it remained. Ye Chen wasn't sure why he felt this way, but once this thought arose, it lingered in his mind. After some contemplation, he summoned Agumen, and both of them lay quietly on the bed. After a long while, Agumen suddenly spoke. Ye Chen, do you think I can become even stronger? Ye Chen nodded and replied, of course. Although you are already very strong now, you will become even more powerful in the future. Ye Chen recalled the mechanical Tyrannosaurus, the fighting Tyrannosaurus Omega, and various forms. But why do you want to become stronger? Ye Chen continued to ask. Agumen turned to look at Ye Chen and replied without hesitation, because I want to protect you. Then why do you want to protect me? Why did you appear by my side? Ye Chen felt a bit moved, but still asked. Agumen was silent for a moment before resolutely stating, I don't know why I appeared. I only know that Ye Chen is the most important person in my life. Ye Chen was deeply touched as he replied. Agumen is also my most important partner. Get some sleep early, cover yourself with a blanket so you don't catch a cold. I want cover up. It's easy to catch a cold without a blanket while the air conditioning is running. Oh, why don't you just wear a shirt? I won't wear one. Why? Because a good man never keeps a mistress. Damn. Ye Chen spat blood, not expecting Agumen to learn all the lewd talk instead of good behavior. The next morning, Ye Chen was still dreaming when Tao Hong directly pushed the door open. Tao Hong shook the sleeping Ye Chen and said excitedly, Lazy brother, you have to see the forum for Tianqing City. It's gone crazy. Ye Chen awakened and slightly annoyed replied, Why would we care about the Tianqing City forum when we've already left? Tao Hong chuckled. The mayor of Tianqing City, Hu Jun, has been blasted. The forum is full of insults directed at him. Ye Chen's interest was piqued, and he quickly opened his phone to enter the forum. Hu Jun is a big fool, garbage administrator, keep deleting. The insulting words on the homepage of the forum were quite prominent, and the comments below were filled with curses, all mentioning Hu Jun. Ye Chen clicked on a post that had over 10,000 replies. What caused the conflict between Mayor Hu Jun and Ye Chen? Ultimately, whose fault was greater? The original poster stated, I am a student from the second middle school of Tianqing City. I want to clarify that I was present at the scene and I know all the details. The video circulating online was recorded by me. Regarding the title's claim of who is right and who is wrong, I can only tell you that Hu Jun is a big fool. He arranged for his nephew to work within the system, and as a result his nephew just sat there doing nothing and spoke rudely to classmate Ye Chen. This is what led to the conflict between Ye Chen and his nephew. When the big fool Hu Jun arrived, he favored his nephew and demanded Ye Chen apologize without investigating the matter, threatening to expel Ye Chen from Tianqing City at any moment. As soon as the post was published, the replies varied widely, with even netizens from Yinshan City coming to find amusement. Haha, classmate, you are right, your mayor is indeed a big fool. However, we in Yinshan City have to thank him. If he weren't such a fool, Ye Chen wouldn't have come to our city to develop. Without him coming here, how could we Yinshan City have such great benefits? Extra rewards and reduced difficulty. Besides the war godling Alfing, who else has achieved this? The respondents from Tianqing City couldn't refute the taunts from Yinshan City. Moreover, what they said was not wrong. Everyone had seen the video online. Ye Chen had done nothing wrong. It was all trouble caused by Hu Jun himself. Thus the criticism gradually began to shift entirely towards Hu Jun. Some said Hu Jun was too protective of his nephew, and as a mayor he shouldn't act this way. However, the majority began to unleash their scorn. Do you know why Hu Jun is so determined to protect his nephew? Because this fool is henpecked. His wife tells him to go east, and he doesn't dare go west. Damn it, this benefit should have belonged to our Tianqing City, but that fool Hu Jun just handed it over. I'm afraid I'll end up giving him a compliment if I keep cursing him. I can't take it anymore, or I'm going to call to scold him. You still have the mayor's phone number. Isn't there a complaint hotline? The complaint hotline doesn't work. I've tried it before. Then I'll write a letter and drop it in the complaint box. Bro, you're too brave. The camera is right above the complaint box. If you drop it in the morning, you'll be drinking tea by afternoon. So what should we do? What can we do? Just curse here. Can't you see that stupid administrator is still frantically deleting posts? The more he deletes, the more right we are. Ye Chen browsed through various posts with great interest, a smile never leaving his lips. Meanwhile, in the mayor's office of Tianqing City. Bang! Are the forum administrators all dead? Can't they delete posts? Hu Jun was so furious that his hands trembled and the table was smashed in half. Since the news of Ye Chen clearing the nightmare-level abyss reached Tianqing City, the insults on the posts hadn't ceased and had even intensified. The secretary helplessly said, Mayor, the administrators have been deleting for almost a day and night. Several of them have even strained their hands. However, there are just too many posts. They can't keep up with the deletions. Hu Jun stood up and shouted, You all are useless. All of you are useless. Although the secretary was very angry, he stood there with a humble expression, wanting to slam the table and curse Hu Jun's mother and quit. But there was no choice. If he dared to do so, it would mean no food on the table, especially since it was a stable job. A few minutes later, Hu Jun calmed down, opened his mouth, and said, You inform them to temporarily shut down the forum. Then you immediately find a few experts to conduct an interview. You understand how to do it, right? The secretary nodded and said, I understand. He often helped Hu Jun with these things before. All he had to do was find a few experts, belittle the summoner profession, and then take a jab at Ye Chen. This way public opinion might ease a bit. After the secretary left the office, Hu Jun sighed, and then took out his phone to dial a number. Hello, is this the Divine Arrival sect? I have a commission. Hu Jun said. A hoarse voice came from the other end of the line. You know the price, right? I know. I'll offer 1 billion to help me kill a level 20 transmuter. Hu Jun stated. 1 billion. The voice on the other end clearly paused for a moment. Generally, a level 20 transmuter would cost around 10 million, but Hu Jun unexpectedly offered a price of. However, the person on the other end quickly adjusted their state and said, Give me the identity information, transfer the money to the account I specify, and just wait for news. How can you guarantee I won't be scammed? Hu Jun asked. Don't make me repeat what I just said, came the calm reply from the other end. I'm sorry. Hu Jun broke into a cold sweat from the intimidation. The Divine Arrival sect, the largest assassin organization in the whole of Xinzhou. No one knew their true background, but it was known that as long as you paid enough, they could kill. There were even rumors that as long as you paid enough, they could even take down the war godling Alfing. Who do you want to kill? The voice on the other end asked. Ye Chen, a senior student at Tianqing City's first high school, currently in Yinshan City. Hu Jun replied. Ye Chen, the level 3 SS transmuter, the voice asked. That's right, Hu Jun nodded. 3 billion. Without any hesitation, the voice on the other end quickly corrected the price. Hiss. 3 billion. He's only level 20. Hu Jun couldn't help but suck in a breath. 3 billion was nearly all his savings. Whether you agree or not is up to you. The voice on the other end remained clear and concise. Hu Jun fell silent for a moment, then gritted his teeth and said, He'll transfer the money right away. In Yinshan City, at the villa where Ye Chen resides, he and his companions are having breakfast. They bought 50 buns, and the Yaga beast devoured 40 of them. Ye Chen asked, Would you like some soy milk? The Yaga beast shook its head and replied, I think the GABA vegetable is better, it's very tasty. Ye Chen was speechless, realizing that the Yaga beast was indeed from the northeast. Lazy brother, what's the plan for today? Are we resting or diving into another abyss? Tao Hong said after swallowing a bun. Ye Chen replied, Let's go after dinner, we'll head to the second abyss then. The first stage abyss only allows entry for levels 10 to 20. I've already reached level 20, which means after this abyss I can only enter the second stage abyss. As for when I can take you all next time, it depends on how fast you level up. Tao Hong and the others nodded. They initially thought they would be able to cling to Ye Chen for a longer time, but alas, his leveling speed was simply too fast. Those who can level up from level 10 to 20 within a year or two are truly gifted. Who would have thought Ye Chen achieved this with just one abyss? Ye Chen, how should we calculate our expenses this time? Taoing asked. Ye Chen replied, let's stick with 1000, just like last time. Tao Ying and Li Ziqing nodded, alright, we'll transfer it to you. The perfectly cleared abyss also provided them with quite a few good items. Selling just a little would yield a substantial amount, so paying this 1000 is relatively easy. After breakfast, Ye Chen returned to his room and took out the bone he found in the treasure chest yesterday, continuing his research. Zombie bone, epic, wearing level. Skill. Effect. Yaga beast, you said last night that you could sense this bone. Can you tell me what you sensed? Ye Chen asked as he handed the bone to the Yaga beast. He initially planned to head to another abyss after waking up, but the Yaga beast mentioned it was familiar with this bone. Thus Ye Chen set aside a day to study this bone. After receiving the bone, the Yaga beast seemed to sense something, and a wisp of black mist emerged. I said, Yaga beast, I have a feeling this isn't a good thing. Why don't we just not use it? Ye Chen looked at the black mist, feeling an ominous premonition. The Yaga beast held the bone, and said, Ye Chen, when I touched this bone, I felt that my strength seemed to increase a bit. I don't know if it's just my imagination. Ye Chen glanced at the Yaga beast's attribute panel, and saw no changes. It's probably just your imagination. Oh, I see no changes on your panel. The Yaga beast didn't respond, but stared at the bone in silence for a long time, before saying, can I keep this bone for now? Ye Chen hesitated for a moment before responding, alright. But don't equip this item, yet let's see what we can figure out later. Thank you, lazy brother, said the Yaga beast. Time flew by, and soon it was evening. After dinner, Ye Chen and the others took a car to the outskirts of Yinshan City, and got out. There was still some distance to the Abyss Hall, but Ye Chen and his companions decided to walk to help with digestion. Why is it so dark along the road from the city to the Abyss Hall? Are we going the wrong way? Li Ziqing, feeling scared, hid behind Ye Chen. Though Tao Ying appeared aloof, her looking around made it clear she was also frightened. Tao Hong patted his chest and reassured them, don't worry with me, Hong Go here. Even if I'm missing a couple of front teeth, I still have the aura of a hero. Just as he finished speaking, a shadow suddenly flashed past Ye Chen and the others. What the hell, what was that? Am I hallucinating? Tao Hong was startled and quickly moved closer to Ye Chen. At this moment, Ye Chen had already stopped vigilantly scanning the surroundings. What just happened was not a hallucination. Ye Chen also saw a shadow of figure. The fact that Ye Chen couldn't see the figure clearly indicated its formidable power. The visitor is not friendly. Yaga beast, prepare for battle. Ye Chen said, gripping the holy plan tightly. Whoosh. A shadow again flashed past Ye Chen and a thin cut appeared on his face, confirming that the figure was targeting him. Yaga beast, can you see the opponent's movements? Ye Chen asked. I can't see clearly. Oh, I can only vaguely see a shadow. The Yaga beast replied. Ye Chen looked around and said, hiding doesn't seem to be meaningful. Come out already. Just after he spoke, a figure walked out not far in front of Ye Chen. SS level job changer. Ye Chen, I've heard a lot about you. Is that your summoned beast beside you? Quite cute. Ye Chen cautiously looked at the disheveled man not far away and asked, who are you? The man chuckled and replied, Mr. Yang from the Divine Arrival sect. Someone has offered 3 billion to buy your life. To buy my life? Who? Ye Chen inquired. Mr. Yang shrugged. Do you think I would tell you? I suppose not. Ye Chen smiled, already having a guess as to who it might be. Actually, I have a lot of faith in you, SS level job changer. I believe you will achieve greatness in the future, but unfortunately, you have no future anymore. As he spoke, Mr. Yang pulled out his weapon, a dagger that looked rusty but gave off an aura that suggested it could cut through iron. Mr. Yang is coming for me. You shouldn't harm the others beside me, right? Ye Chen asked. Mr. Yang nodded. Of course, we have a strong sense of professional ethics. The employer only paid me to kill you. I won't touch anyone else. But they must leave after you die, otherwise how would anyone know if they're going to get reinforcements? Hearing this, Ye Chen slightly nodded, then turned to Tao Hong and the others, saying, you all stay back a bit, find a safe place. No way. How could I leave you and go? Tao Hong said resolutely. Ye Chen responded, staying here won't help at all. Just honestly hide somewhere safe. Seeing the coldness in Ye Chen's eyes, Tao Hong finally said, fine, we'll wait for you. Though Tao Hong said this, he had already decided that if anything happened to Ye Chen, he would rush over without hesitation. Clap, clap, clap. After Tao Hong and the others left, Mr. Yang clapped his hands in admiration. What a touching brotherhood. I wonder what expression he will have after you die. Do you really think you can kill me? As soon as he finished speaking, the holy plan in Ye Chen's hand emitted a dazzling light. Super Flame. The evolved Tyrannosaurus beast clearly realized the strength of its opponent, launching an attack the moment its evolution was complete. Mr. Yang smirked disdainfully, tilting his head slightly to effortlessly dodge the attack of the Tyrannosaurus beast. The power is decent, but the speed is too slow. However, your summoned beast is quite unique. It's the first time I've seen a summoned beast that can evolve. Do you have any other summoned beasts? You can summon them all together. Mr. Yang looked at the Tyrannosaurus beast with great interest, appearing remarkably relaxed. Ye Chen raised an eyebrow and said casually, one summoned beast is enough to deal with you. Ye Chen deliberately gave Mr. Yang the impression that he still had hidden cards hoping to instill some caution in him. The pressure emanating from Mr. Yang was immense, leaving Ye Chen at a loss for how to escape. Even the bosses in the nightmare-level abyss had never made Ye Chen feel this way. Mr. Yang nonchalantly said, "How many you summon is your freedom? Ooh, I just need to do my job well." 100 steps divine movement. As soon as he spoke, Mr. Yang wielding a dagger almost instantaneously appeared behind Ye Chen, moving so quickly that even the Tyrannosaurus beast didn't react in time. This is a skill unique to the assassin class, allowing for a rapid dash behind an enemy to attack and inflict significant damage. Mr. Yang showcased his strength during the attack. A level 50 class changer. Ye Chen understood just how powerful his opponent was, but he never expected Mr. Yang to be a level 50 class changer who, though not yet awakened, was not someone Ye Chen could challenge. Conceal. In a critical moment, he successfully activated his survival skill as Mr. Yang's dagger pierced through Ye Chen's neck. Ye Chen had no choice but to activate his survival skill. He believed he could not withstand the attack from a level 50 class changer. Oh, survival equipment. Interesting. Mr. Yang flicked his dagger and mocked, "But how long can you maintain this state? It's simply a matter of dying a little sooner or a little later." Ye Chen glanced at the Tyrannosaurus beast. Without a word, both man and beast turned to flee. He was clearly no match for a level 50 class changer. Fleeing was his only option. Fortunately, Ye Chen and Tao Hong were in a party, so they could benefit from the concealment effect as well. Tao Hong, run quickly. Head towards the city. Ye Chen shouted loudly. Tao Hong and the others ran in unison towards the city of Yinshan. But just then a bizarre occurrence took place. After running a distance, Ye Chen found an invisible wall blocking their path. No matter which direction Ye Chen ran, there was an invisible wall. As the concealment state was about to fade, beads of sweat began to form on Ye Chen's forehead. Half a minute later, with the complete disappearance of the concealment state, Ye Chen and the others returned to their original form. Mr. Yang seemed to have anticipated this, smiling as he said, "I originally thought you were just a level 20 brat not worth my personal involvement. But it seems your strength far exceeds that of a typical class changer at the same level, and your summon beast is terrifyingly strong. If we had sent a class changer in their 30s to deal with you, we might have truly met our downfall. But now," Mr. Yang smirked and launched another attack, the dagger in his hand radiating a fearsome glint. Activate Berserk. Tyrannosaurus Beast. In a last-ditch effort, Ye Chen brought out his trump card, the only skill he could use, summoning the beast's berserk state. As the skill was unleashed, the Tyrannosaurus beast instantly grew in size, its eyes turning blood red, and its speed increased significantly, almost rushing in front of Ye Chen in the blink of an eye, using its horn to block Mr. Yang's attack. Your summoned beast is indeed extraordinary. A hint of surprise finally appeared on Mr. Yang's face. He hadn't expected Ye Chen as a level 20 class changer to exhibit such formidable. However, this also intensified the killing intent in Mr. Yang's eyes. Mr. Yang was well aware of the conflict between Ye Chen and the mayor of Tianqing City. Given Ye Chen's temperament, if he let him escape now, he would surely seek revenge once he grew stronger. Thus Mr. Yang had to ensure Ye Chen died here today. With your current strength, even against a level 40 class changer, you would probably have a fighting chance, but unfortunately you have encountered me. Mr. Yang's eyes grew sharp and his aura suddenly surged to its peak. Bang! Mr. Yang's full-force strike sent the Tyrannosaurus beast flying, leaving a gaping wound across its chest. Tyrannosaurus beast. Ye Chen was taken aback and rushed towards the direction of the Tyrannosaurus beast. But at that moment, Mr. Yang had already flashed to Ye Chen's side. Game over, classmate Ye Chen, Mr. Yang said indifferently. Pooh! A sharp sound echoed as the dagger plunged deep into Ye Chen's chest. Ye Chen coughed up blood and fell heavily to the ground, surrounded by wisps of chilling air. Lazy brother. Tao Hong, not far away, saw this scene and immediately rushed over to confront Mr. Yang. Don't come over. Ye Chen struggled to speak. His health had dropped below 500. Had he not activated the active skill of the Frost Staff in time, he would have surely been a corpse by now. You're still not dead. Your vitality is truly tenacious. If it were any other level 20 class changer, they would have died several times over by now, Mr. Yang remarked in surprise. Let me deliver the final blow. Mr. Yang raised his weapon again, preparing to deal Ye Chen the finishing strike. Ye Chen. The Tyrannosaurus beast struggled to rise from the ground, moving towards Ye Chen. Stop. Don't touch Ye Chen. Come for me. The Tyrannosaurus beast roared desperately, but Mr. Yang remained unmoved, continuing to approach Ye Chen. I'll kill you. I must kill you. The Tyrannosaurus beast's blood-red eyes became even more crimson, tears streaming from its eyes. Whether blood or tears was unclear. At that moment, a strange scene unfolded. Ye Chen's blood flowing down stained the sacred plan and the courage badge. The courage badge around Ye Chen's neck began to react strangely. A plume of black mist seeped out from the evolution badge, enveloping it completely. The sacred plan on Ye Chen also began to be shrouded in black mist, gradually replacing its light blue hue. Nearby, the Tyrannosaurus beast experienced the same transformation, surrounded by a mass of black mist, while an object at its waist was frantically absorbing the surrounding black mist. Ye Chen struggled to raise his head. The object absorbing the black mist was a pile of question-mark-shaped bones. Tyrannoman. Ye Chen called out tentatively. Roar. A gut-wrenching roar erupted from Tyrannoman. Whether in response to Ye Chen or born of excruciating agony, none could tell. At that very moment, the sacred project embedded within Ye Chen suddenly emitted a pulse of inky black light, piercing straight through his courage badge. Tyrannoman's body began convulsing violently. His once vibrant orange hide and sinewy musculature sloughed away en masse, leaving behind only a stark, pallid skeleton. Then the skeletal frame swelled rapidly, until from the base of its spine a colossal orange missile erupted into being. This is Zombie Tyrannoman. Ye Chen recoiled in shock. He had never imagined Tyrannoman would achieve Ultra Evolution at such a desperate juncture. Zombie Tyrannoman Perfect Form. HP 70000. Attack 18000. Speed 3000. Skill 1 Eye Death Claw. Lashing out with massive bony talons, inflicting devastating physical damage and potentially searing targets with caustic heat. Skill 2 Skeletal Reinforcement. Fortifying its own bones to dramatically enhance both defense and offensive power. Skill 3 Elemental Missile. Upon impact, erects energy walls around the target, forming an inescapable cage while enabling sustained external assault. Skill 4 Zero Mode Cruise Missile. Fires an organic matter-based missile from its spine or back. Immense and destructive force. This is Zombie Tyrannoman's signature long-range attack. Evolution materials required. Equipped artifact Flame Fawn. Description: a skeletal Digimon whose flesh has entirely rotted away, yet driven solely by the instinct to fight, persisting even after bodily dissolution. Description continued: a Digimon consumed entirely by combat. Its will to battle endures beyond the death of its flesh. Zombie Tyrannoman swiveled its emerald eyes toward Mr. Yang standing nearby, locked onto him with chilling focus. Without warning, the orange missile launched from its spine, hurtling straight at him. Zero Mode Cruise Missile. Boom. A thunderous detonation followed. The shockwave sent Ye Chen flying several meters backward, and a towering mushroom cloud billowed skyward. Tao Hong seized the moment, rushing over to catch Ye Chen midair. She pointed at the rising mushroom cloud and exclaimed, "Damn it, Longa. Why didn't you deploy this ace earlier? You nearly scared me to death." Ye Chen shook his head. "All of you should retreat farther, lest you be caught in the crossfire. Zombie Tyrannoman's temperament is dangerously unstable right now. What about you?" Tao Hong asked, voice tight with concern. Wiping blood from the corner of his mouth, Ye Chen smiled faintly. "Don't worry, it's my summoned beast." Tao Hong nodded. Though anxiety gnawed at her, she chose to trust Ye Chen. After all, he had never once let her down. Ye Chen gazed up at the miniature mushroom cloud drifting across the sky, and could only marvel, truly worthy of the name Zombie Tyrannoman. In the animated chronicles, it had slaughtered Tyrannoman outright. Its attack power, 18000 points, was staggering, though he couldn't fathom how Mr. Yang was surely no longer its match. Seconds ticked by. The mushroom cloud gradually dissipated, revealing only a grotesque 10-meter-wide crater gouged deep into the earth. Roar. Zombie Tyrannoman fixed its burning gaze upon Mr. Yang, who lay sprawled on the ground, and unleashed a furious guttural roar. Mr. Yang sat dazed and suit-streaked, clutching his left leg, blood pooling thickly beneath him. His thigh had been blasted clean off, at the root bone gleaming starkly in the open air. Even having dodged Zombie Tyrannoman's assault at top speed, he'd still lost his left leg. He remained seated on the ground, stunned and disoriented, his earlier arrogance utterly erased from his eyes. He couldn't comprehend why Ye Chen's summoned beast kept transforming, nor how it had suddenly unleashed such overwhelming power. Was Ye Chen merely feigning weakness, playing the fool to ambush his prey? No. Mr. Yang instantly dismissed the thought. After all, Ye Chen had already been beaten to the brink of death, barely clinging to life. There was no strategic reason to conceal such profound strength. HSSSS. Gritting his teeth against the agony, Mr. Yang struggled upright, only to collapse again, unbalanced by the loss of his leg. Roar. Zombie Tyrannoman granted him no respite, raising its massive claw and slamming it down toward him. Death Claw. With every ounce of strength remaining, Mr. Yang barely evaded the blow. Survival, not mission completion, was now his sole imperative. To linger meant certain death. As Zombie Tyrannoman charged, Mr. Yang drew a deep breath. "Looks like I must unveil my last resort." Swiftly, he withdrew an unfamiliar artifact from his pack and crushed it between his fingers. At the instant Zombie Tyrannoman closed to within half a stride, Mr. Yang vanished, leaving only empty air behind. Zombie Tyrannoman froze, then scanned wildly. But Mr. Yang had disappeared without trace. An astonishing artifact, capable of instantaneous teleportation. Ye Chen cursed softly, bitterly disappointed that Mr. Yang had escaped. A level 50 job transcended cultivator. His inventory must brim with priceless treasures. Slaying him wouldn't just yield unimaginable spoils, it would grant astronomical experience points. At that thought, Ye Chen sighed regretfully, but the grudge was now irrevocable. This debt would be repaid. Mr. Yang, Shenlin's sect, and you. Ye Chen shall remember this well, he sneered coldly. Ruer. Zombie Tyrannoman roared again, spotting Ye Chen nearby, and charged straight toward him. Zombie Tyrannoman, do you not recognize me? Ye Chen did not flinch, but lifted his gaze calmly. Hearing that familiar voice, Zombie Tyrannoman gradually slowed. It lowered its skull-like head, fixing its hollow sockets upon Ye Chen, its expression shifting to one of wary uncertainty. Ye Chen, its jaw reduced to bare bone, could only produce a rasping speech-like echo. It's me. All danger has passed. Revert now? Don't you feel the chill with all those bones exposed? Return to your original form, or at least wrap yourself in something warm. Ye Chen smiled. As his words faded, golden light enveloped Zombie Tyrannoman, then receded, revealing Agumon collapsed motionless upon the ground. Ignoring the sharp pain in his chest, Ye Chen limped forward and cradled Agumon gently in his arms. Slowly Agumon opened his eyes, and gazed silently steadily at Ye Chen. Ye Chen, what is it? A true man never keeps a second concubine. I'm hungry. Ye Chen stroked Agumon's brow and chuckled. Come on, we'll feast tonight. Agumon's forced ascension to perfect form had drained him utterly, but they had weathered the crisis. That for now was enough. Brother Lan, what kind of summon was that? Was it evolved from Agumon? Tao Hong and the others walked over, their faces full of curiosity as they looked at Ye Chen. Ye Chen was about to speak, but at that moment the distant roar of a helicopter engine reached them. Half a minute later, Ye Chen was surrounded by a countless number of professionals forming an impenetrable circle. What does this mean? Accomplices of that man. Tao Hong looked around warily, not forgetting to shield the injured Ye Chen behind her. It was only when Zhang Ke came running over that Tao Hong finally breathed a sigh of relief. Holy crap, who the hell did this? They'll send people to bring them all back. Zhang Ke walked up to Ye Chen and immediately saw the shocking wound on his chest. He flew into a rage, vowing to seek justice for Ye Chen. Ye Chen said helplessly, a man who called himself Mr. Yang from the Shenlin sect. Upon hearing the name Shenlin sect, Zhang Ke fell silent. Of course he knew about the Shenlin sect. It was no secret in Shenzhou. Moreover, the Shenlin sect was greatly disliked in Shenzhou. Back then, the top 3 major sects of Shenzhou had joined forces to eradicate the Shenlin sect, but they failed, suffering heavy losses. Although the Shenlin sect also took severe damage, they had fought 1 against 3, which was enough to prove their formidable strength. Why would the Shenlin sect suddenly come after you? Could someone want you dead? Zhang Ke asked, puzzled, because as far as he knew, it took a hefty sum to hire the Shenlin sect. Before Ye Chen could explain, Tao Hong said indignantly, that bastard Yang said someone paid 300 million to have Ye Chen killed. And he was a level 50 professional. 300 million. Before Zhang Ke could finish being shocked, the mention of a level 50 professional left him utterly stunned. A level 50 professional wanted to kill Ye Chen. How did Ye Chen and the others survive? Among the 4, Ye Chen had the highest level, and he was only level 20. A level 20 fighting a level 50. Zhang Ke couldn't believe it. Even the legendary Ling Alfing had never achieved such a feat. How did you escape a level 50 professional? Zhang Ke finally couldn't help asking. Ye Chen replied truthfully, he stabbed me, I took off one of his legs, and he ran. Hiss. Zhang Ke couldn't help but draw a sharp breath. The amount of information was overwhelming, his mind was momentarily short-circuited. By the way, Brother Zhang, how did you know I was in trouble here? Ye Chen asked. Zhang Ke said, well, with such a huge explosion, and even a mushroom cloud, if I still didn't know, I'd be an idiot. Alright. Ye Chen had finally recovered some strength, and with the support of Agumon stood up. Zhang Ke wanted to take Ye Chen to the hospital, but Ye Chen refused because he felt his wound was healing rapidly. What had been a shocking gash now looked like a mere scratch. Ye Chen didn't know why his healing ability was so strong. Could it be because of his profession? After returning home, Zhang Ke took out his phone and made a call outside the door, then came back in and said, Ye Chen, I've deployed some high-level professionals around your villa. This is the city center, so those crazy Shenlin sect members shouldn't dare to act rashly. But just in case, it's better to have extra security. The Shenlin sect is like a wild dog. Once it catches your scent, it won't let go. So you're saying I'm dog crap? Ye Chen joked. I still have work to do, so I'll head off now. Call me if anything comes up. Zhang Ke left after speaking. The 4 of them sat in silence on the sofa. They had planned to go happily challenge the Abyss together that evening, but before they even got there, this mess happened. I guess we'll have to go to the Abyss tomorrow, Ye Chen said with a shrug. Li Ziqing quickly said, you should rest for a while. That wound was so deep it scared me just to look at it. Ye Chen pointed at his chest and said, "Look, is it still there?" Because Ye Chen had taken off his bloodstained shirt as soon as he got home, Li Ziqing had been too embarrassed to look his way. But when she finally saw his chest, she couldn't help exclaiming, "Healed so fast. Ye Chen, are you a superhero?" At that moment, only a faint trace could be seen on Ye Chen's chest, a world of difference from the original wound. "Are you sure you're okay?" Li Ziqing was still worried. Ye Chen nodded. "Don't worry." After discussing it, everyone returned to their rooms to sleep. In Tianqing City, Hu Jun was idly browsing news on various platforms at home. If Ye Chen had died, the news would surely have covered it extensively. Hu Jun had learned the power of journalists. Why is there still no news? A level 50 professional dealing with a level 20 should be a piece of cake, right? Could the Shenlin sect be slacking off? Just as he spoke, Hu Jun's phone suddenly rang, and the caller ID showed a string of garbled characters. "Hello, who is this?" Hu Jun answered. The voice on the other end, still distorted, said, "Hu Jun, there's been a hiccup with your order. The completion date might be delayed." "What do you mean? Didn't you already send a level 50 professional to deal with Ye Chen? What kind of hiccup?" Hu Jun was immediately displeased. The Shenlin sect was clearly not doing its job. "I'm not at liberty to say." The voice on the phone was concise. "I want a refund." Hu Jun was furious, but he held back his anger due to the Shenlin sect's power. He decided to call off the deal. "That's your right, but we will charge a 20 penalty fee." "How much?" 20. "You failed to complete the order within the agreed time. That's a breach of contract on your part. Why should I pay a penalty?" Hu Jun's chest heaved with rage. 20 would be 60 million. The voice on the phone said calmly, "Mr. Hu Jun, we only said to wait for news. We never set a deadline, did we?" "Rest assured, Mr. Hu Jun, the Shenlin sect may have a notorious reputation, but have you ever heard of us being untrustworthy?" Hu Jun fell into thought. Indeed, the Shenlin sect was a sect everyone condemned, but their execution had never been in question. "All right, let's continue the deal. But I hope you can be quick about it," Hu Jun said, calming himself. "You have our word, Mr. Hu Jun." The call ended. Hu Jun's good mood earlier was completely gone. However, just then the secretary's phone call came in. "Mayor, the exclusive interview with the expert has been completed and public opinion should emerge soon." The secretary reported. "Got it." Hu Jun hung up the phone and began scrolling through the forum. Shocking. A large ancient tomb discovered underground in Tianqing City. Posted by Yu Jie is very sad. Let me show you how beautiful my goddess is. Posted by I am Yuelostog. The People's Republic of China celebrates its 60th anniversary. Long live the people. Posted by Red Star Yang. Oh, it really works. Hu Jun felt his mood lift upon seeing no posts insulting him. Scrolling down further. Good, let's see what trash you can produce." Hu Jun repeated "good" 3 times before opening the post. The post was very simple, containing only a link followed by a pile of replies. As expected of Brother Tianzhua, a genius in the shouting arena. This song almost made me cry. So well sung. Who knew shouting could also have positive energy? Who says shouting is unrefined? Get him out of here. Hu Jun is already great. Hu Jun merely glanced and sneered, then clicked on the link. Buffering. Buffering completed. Playback begins. A dedicated drinking song begins to play. Hu Jun's face turned ashen as he directly called the secretary. "Are you an idiot? I told you to create public opinion. Why are there still posts insulting me on the forum? And they even turned it into a song. And it rhymes well too." Hu Jun cursed angrily. The secretary said, somewhat aggrieved, "Mayor, the interview video was just released not long ago. It takes time for it to spread. And not everyone will be influenced by public opinion." Hu Jun interrupted. "That's your job, don't talk to me about that. Also find out the address of that guy called MC Tianzhua. Have the locals invite him for tea for 2 years." "Okay, Mayor, I'll check it right now," the secretary responded. After hanging up the carefree, Hu Jun continued scrolling. Ye Chen was attacked by the Divine Arrival sect on the way to the abyss. The Divine Arrival sect has already taken action. Weren't they supposed to postpone? Hu Jun clicked on the post with confusion. Around 7 p.m. today, Ye Chen's team was ambushed by the Divine Arrival sect while heading to the Abyss Hall. The specific reasons are unclear, and the level of the Divine Arrival sect practitioners is also unknown. According to rumors, the final outcome was that Ye Chen was slightly injured while the Divine Arrival sect practitioner escaped with a broken. The comments below exploded. What the hell? Does the Divine Arrival sect really want to die? They dare to attack even SS-level practitioners. As expected of the Divine Arrival sect, which can stand firm even when besieged by the 3 major sects. Didn't the Divine Arrival sect say that as long as the money is right, they could even kill Ling Aofing? Listen to their bragging. I could claim I could take over the world if the money was right, but the problem is you don't pay enough. Don't you realize Ye Chen is even more amazing? If this matter is true, then the Divine Arrival sect has lost face big time. Aren't they known for never missing? I heard that the Divine Arrival sect's practitioner is a level 50 assassin. Don't kid me, buddy. Ye Chen is impressive, but he's only level 20. If this matter is true, then the Divine Arrival sect is likely to take action again. The Divine Arrival sect dares to touch our city's living bodhisattva? We must fight them. Are there any comrades from Yinshan City? Come with me tomorrow to guard Ye Chen's villa. Count me in. Count me in. Hu Jun is great. Buddy, you're from Tianxing City. Don't come here to cause trouble for us. Damn Divine Arrival sect. Hu Jun cursed and closed the forum, too lazy to look at the comments that followed. The Divine Arrival sect had already notified Hu Jun that they sent a level 50 practitioner to deal with Ye Chen. Now that such news has emerged, it indicates that the Divine Arrival sect has indeed sent someone over. But having been so badly beaten by Ye Chen indicates that the Divine Arrival sect cut corners and did not send a level 50 There is no other possibility. Could it be that Ye Chen defeated a level 50 practitioner? Hu Jun would rather believe in the theory of the heavens and the earth. However, although Hu Jun was angry, he had no way to act. As a mayor, if he wanted to leave the area, he had to report to the higher-ups about where he was going, why he was leaving, what he was going to do, and when he would return. If he were to go and kill Ye Chen, he would probably be found out within 2 days. Naturally, he was even more wary of the Divine Arrival sect. After all, even though they broke the contract first, if they really got angry, they could easily deal with him. Damn it, paying for trouble. Hu Jun cursed quietly and fell asleep in anger. The next morning, Yinshan City. Ye Chen woke up. The exhilarating battle yesterday allowed him to sleep particularly well that night. Another good news is that Ye Chen's divine plan and courage badge completely absorbed the black mist last night and turned it into his own energy, reducing the evolution fragments needed for the Tyrannosaurus beast's super evolution by 100. This means that the Tyrannosaurus beast now meets all the conditions for super evolution. Now Ye Chen's divine plan and badge radiated with bursts of golden light. Just as Ye Chen was feeling pleased, Tao Hong ran in again. Lazy brother, there are so many people outside. Ye Chen nodded. Didn't Brother Zhang say yesterday that he would send some bodyguards? Tao Hong shook her head. There are indeed a lot of people. So many that I can't even count. A lot. Ye Chen walked into the living room with a puzzled expression. Various sounds of gongs and drums could be heard from outside. Opening the door, the scene before him left him stunned. Spectacular, right? Tao Hong said. This is simply gongs and drums blaring, firecrackers ringing, red flags fluttering, and a sea. Ye Chen gazed at the endless crowd in the community and couldn't help but sigh. He originally wanted to ask what these people were here for, but various banners had already made their intentions clear. Sworn to protect the safety of the Godfather, trash Divine Arrival sect, come and fight. If you dare, revenge for the father, never forget. Damn, what revenge for the father? Am not dead. Ye Chen complained, then realized something was amiss. What am I getting angry about? Am not his father.